sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, let's get rocking and rolling here on a Tuesday. Ethan, I was going to kind of ask you to do me a favor and then honor you at the same time. Fred's in here, the Hall of Famer. Sue Thomas, of course, but our other producer, Ethan Hannaford, who spends a lot of time doing work on other shows, too, and not paying nearly enough attention to this show. You got some sort of, like, I come into the building today and your face is planted on the TV monitors and stuff like that. What happened? Was there something good or bad that happened? I mean, you're still here.
They're
so that's
telling
good,
me
right?
it was good. There was some mixed messaging in the congratulations and in the, I guess you'd say, compliments made. But I guess I won the quarterly award here that they give out at Odyssey.
What does that mean? Is that what you won recently, Fred?
No, I had a different
different honor?
I
guess
was
you
a
get
champion.
Champions dinner. That's right.
Yeah.
So you got the court. What is that?
I think your coworkers nominate you and say, "Hey, you're worthy of being recognized."
Look at that.
Yeah.
Was I
It's
supposed
impressive.
to? Was I supposed to vote on that?
It's like
where's the bell?
three C's or four
here it
C's:
is.
creative, courageous.
Sorry.
I don't know what the other two
something
are.
like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess.
Hey, congratulations! But here's what I really need.
You
Can
need
you
a
grab me
Diet Coke.
Yes.
Did you? So here's what you didn't hear is while you had your headphones on and the intro music was playing, I said he's gonna make me get him a Diet Coke.
Yep.
Did you say that?
Yep.
Did they
I
hear
said
it?
Yeah,
he
we
wants
heard
some
it.
poison. That's
Yes,
what he wants.
exactly.
That's
Yes.
what one of the C's was: Coke getter.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it-
courageous,
wow.
creative Coke getter.
I am left without a can here next to me, and I've been nursing one lately.
Oh,
so,
poor you.
But no, congratulations on that, Ethan. And I apologize if it was something that I was supposed to participate in, like from a vote perspective or anything like that. Did I tell you guys about this? There's a show on. I think it was that show DMV, which is actually kind of funny. I watched one episode of it. Have you seen the preview?
I've seen the preview.
And then there was a scene in the show last week where somebody is confused about something, and they say an email went out, and the character goes, "Like a work email? I don't check those." I thought it was like me,
so
right,
it's your
Fred?
people, is what
yeah,
you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway,
Yes.
congratulations, Ethan.
Thank you.
That is great. So let me, well, first of all, we got a lot coming up here. We are going to have Leeland Vittert on the show, News Nation host who's a St. Louis native. He's going to weigh in on the shutdown. Rene Knott is going to be with us this afternoon as well at 3:30. So he's not coming in the studio, but he will be with us on the phone. Obviously, I think it was maybe even a week. What's today, Tuesday? I think it was a week ago today or yesterday that all kind of started. So I look forward to that conversation. We have Sue's News, of course, in the next hour and a lot of other stuff going on. But let me just... Sue, you like this story. I was going to tell this. So the puppy, Max the puppy, right, who is 7 months old right now, right? What's the date today?
21st.
Okay, he was 7 months old 2 days ago. So he's got these little things called puppy warts in his mouth, right? Apparently they're common. I'd never heard of them before. It's a virus thing. So we take him to daycare at No Leash Needed, and then he gets all the energy worn out. He plays with the other dogs, and he's really kind of a rock star there. The staff loves him. So a few weeks ago, he came up with this puppy wart thing, and there was only one, I think. And we went to the vet. The vet did what they call crushing it, and then he had to stay out for a few days. So that's fine. So then last week, they're like, no, he's got a bunch of these things. And I called the vet, and the vet's like, well, pretty much it's got to run its course, to build up the immunity, and it could take 3 to 5 months. I'm like, wait, well, what? So, at this point, he's house trained. I'd say 98%. And, he can hang out, and I'm not worried about him getting into too much trouble, although he does like grabbing things from the counter. But I got to get exercise, right?
Yeah,
Gotta do
that's the
exercise.
key.
So yesterday morning, I took him to George Winter Park, which is over there. I would say it's near Gravois Bluffs, if you know that area. And it's a beautiful park, and there's actually a big boat launch ramp there for the Merrimack. A lot of people go in there.
Oh.
If you pull into the park, you go to the right. There's a big parking lot because they put their boats in there, and it's right along the river. And what they did back at the other area where the park is there's a trail, and there's a paved trail that goes back, kind of comes out closer where Old Fenton is. But they had this growth. It used to be just an open field, but there's a pond in there, and there's all this growth, and it's beautiful because they cut paths, right?
Oh, nice.
So you can walk through and do a hike. Now, yesterday I took him there, and I want to let him off the leash because I want him to run. Right now, technically, you're not supposed to do that, and I break the rules all the time. So yesterday went pretty well. He did go into the pond and ended up. I called him swamp ass last night because he didn't smell too good. But I'm like, okay, that went pretty well. Let's take him back here today. So I take him back, and we're doing our thing. There's nobody there. So I'm like, I let him off the leash right away because there's not even cars in the parking lot. And I knew I was relatively safe because the worst thing that could happen is he goes and chases another dog down, and they get into it. And the other
that'd
person,
be bad.
Well,
Or
I mean,
person.
he's a friendly dog, but you don't know what the other dog might do.
Right.
Like if he runs up to another dog, he's not going to be aggressive in a mean way, but he wants to play. But the dog might say, hey, what the hell's coming at me? So I'm walking him around today. Everything's going well. I have my camera with me. Oh, thank you, Ethan. This is going to change the world. Ready?
Oh.
And I'm doing a little slow-mo video. He's running toward me. He's just having a blast, right? I noticed that he dipped into the pond a little bit, but he's just having fun. So we start to circle around the other way, and I'm keeping him within like 50 yards of me, and if he gets a little bit too far ahead, I call him, and then he comes back, and he looks at me, and then he starts playing again. So today, I start walking in the other direction, and he doesn't follow me, and I'm like yelling his name, and I'm saying, treat, because I brought some treats. Well, he was not coming back. And I start walking toward where he was, and I keep walking, and I keep walking, and I keep yelling, and I keep yelling. He's nowhere to be found.
Oh, my gosh.
Nowhere to be found. Now, I'm trying to think of things very quickly what to do. I knew he had his collar on. He's got my phone number on his collar, right? He's also chipped. But, I mean, Sue, I'm at this point,
have just
all-out panic mode. So I come back the pass, and I go all the way back to the parking lot. There's an elderly couple. Maybe not elderly, an older couple. Sorry if I offended you if you were the couple. Hey, I lost my dog. If you guys see him, he's got a number on him. And then these two dudes were sitting at a picnic table closer to where the river was. And they had like this little dog. It was like a Pomeranian or something. And they had it set up on the picnic table. And the guy's like, yeah, your dog's over here. And he was just running around. Now, he had circled all the way around. I'm not even convinced that he didn't go on the road that leads back to that park.
Oh, my gosh.
And he came back around, and he got to the parking lot, and the guy grabbed him. But I was in full heart attack mode for a little bit because I'm at this point, Fred, it's tight on my time to get in here to work. So I'm literally thinking I'm just going to have to leave and then hope that somebody calls the number.
Mark.
I didn't know what to do.
Oh.
So letting him off the leash in the future might not be the best idea. I think I'm gonna have to monitor, but that scared the hell out of me.
Well,
It
did
really
they have him by the collar, or did they? Okay.
Not at first, but when they told me, they're like, he's right back here in the woods, and he comes toward the picnic table, and the dude just grabbed his collar, and then it was fine. He was just playing, but I mean, when I'm yelling his name out and I'm saying the word treat, which is pretty effective if he's in the backyard or if he gets away from us in another situation.
Wow.
That's why they have those rules out there, Sue. Do not let your dogs off the leash.
Let me write that down.
You follow the rules. Hang on. I dropped my reading glasses.
Okay.
It's one of those days. So I'm paging through the Facebook and doing a little doom scrolling, although it wasn't in the middle of the night. And here's what, has anyone else done this the last couple of days? Fred, you're not really a social media Facebook guy, right?
No.
So you go through Facebook every once in a while.
Yeah, I do.
All right, do you see anything that in the last 24 hours that has kind of taken off from some of your liberal friends on Facebook? And I'll just kind of tell you what it is.
No, I don't know.
A lot of people are up there, and they're pissed off about this demolition to the White House, right? So all my lefty friends are up there, happening now, demolishing a portion of the East Wing to build Trump's $250 million ballroom. He already had Jackie Kennedy's Rose Garden destroyed. He posted a video of himself in a crown and a robe, blanking on America. That was actually kind of funny. So this is all over the place. Like my friend Rod Lurie. I love Rod. He is a movie director. He's done some really good stuff over the years, and we became friends. He founded an organization that I was once a member of called the Broadcast Film Critics, which became Critics' Choice. But Rod's like, he's for a guy who was in the military, and he has made some movies that are not exactly, left-wing movies. They are more around the, maybe the theme of America being great, not America being evil. But he posts all the time about stuff. And this was one. There's absolutely nothing more symbolic of the United States today than this photo of part of the East Wing being bulldozed in order to satisfy another one of Trump's gaudy desires. So I kind of heard about this a little bit, and then I start seeing all these posts, and I'm like, why are people so pissed off about this? What in the world? Why would people be mad about something like this, Sue? Do you know, or Fred?
For
Why would
lack
they
of
be
anything
mad?
else to be mad about?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but is there anything in particular that would come up? It's $250 million, right? Well, that's a lot of money, right? Where's that money coming from? Guess what?
Him?
It ain't coming from the taxpayers.
Yep.
It's coming from him, Lockheed Martin. There's other donors. It's being completed with private donations. So here's a question that the left-wingers never would ask themselves, and this is what I asked myself, okay? When I started hearing people bitch about this, two questions come to mind, right? And I just answered one of them. The other question is, hey, is there any possibility, I know that this is impossible for you people who are Trump deranged beyond help, is there any way that you can sit back and say, hey, maybe we needed this. Maybe it's something like Trump says, we don't have room for enough people at state dinners. We haven't done this in a long time. Let's do a renovation to this part of the White House that is long overdue. And hey, let's do this. Let's not use taxpayer dollars doing it. So what the hell is the complaint about doing it?
Yeah,
what is it?
Well, they're not left with anyone.
Right. So, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's unreal that every little thing, they cannot take just one thing and look at it. I can't wait to see my responses because, by the way, I couldn't help myself, and I usually don't do this, and I've learned my lesson on Facebook, but there were two people, including Rob, that said, and here was my response, just terrible, terrible. A long overdue project completely paid for by private donations. I can't think of anything worse, right?
What did they say?
And
to that?
here is Phil Schulberg, who I used to ride bikes with, who I always knew was a left-wing lunatic, says, it is terrible, Mark, to desecrate one of the world's iconic buildings with a huge overdone ballroom that will overshadow it. How do you know that?
He doesn't.
Have you seen the architectural design for this thing?
No.
No, of course not. But you hate Trump so freaking much that anything he does. Oh, here's Rod. Let's see what he said. Overdue. Rod says, overdue? ? I've never in my life heard anyone ask for this. As for those donations, do you know where they're coming from, Mark? Well, right now, I don't know where they're coming. He wants like a full accounting. But why in the hell are you so pissed off? Okay, do you know that it wasn't long overdue?
No, I don't know anything.
When's the last time we did a renovation of the White House, right? They did something to the Rose Garden. Maybe every once in a while we need to take, some attention to our government infrastructure. I can't wait to hear the comments because that type of thing just pisses me off so much. It's just utterly ridiculous. You want to complain. And then the No Kings thing, too, is nonsense. It really, who took the No Kings thing down very effectively was Botcha. And Fred's looking at me like, Mark, you better shut up because you're going too long. So I'll save that for a little later. How about that? I can see those glances. I feel the heat.
I'm all about the clock.
We're coming back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Looks like we've got some volume out there, but it's not bad. So southbound 170, there's a little bit of volume south of Olive, down through Forest Park Parkway. There could be a stall through there, and then some more volume, but it's moderate to the south of there, headed for 64. Now, southbound 270, most of that volume is moderate, but it does stretch from approaching Page down through Doherty Ferry. Now, 55 southbound, slowing, of course, at Bates, but westbound 70 looks fine out of downtown. 64, some moderate volume already at Hampton, and then again at 270. This report is brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. They have the largest, most beautiful showroom in all of St. Louis, full of the latest, most custom designs, located in Chesterfield Valley. And there you'll see why they say creativity unlimited, quality unsurpassed. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Is your car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, You pay nothing on repairs. Ox gets it fixed. Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance.
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-234-0633. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care. 800-234-0633. 800-234-0633. Or go to oxcarcare.com.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Halloween is just around the corner, but don't ghost your carpet this fall. Let Zero Res bring out the very best. Mark Cox here from my friends at Zero Res. They've got a great special for October. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $129. That's a $40 savings. Plus, you can get 15% off air duct and dryer vent cleaning. That's impressive. If there's anything scarier than ghosts or goblins, it's probably hiding in your air ducts. Right now, this month, you can get 15% off, get that cleaned up, and don't miss a deal like this. It could haunt you, if you'll excuse me for that one. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google, over 5,900 reviews. So schedule your appointment with ZeroResSTL.com or call 314-474-2020. Tell them you want the 97.1 FM Talk special. It's Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward, it spells the same.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, one of the big media stories around here has been Rene Knott leaving KSTK. He's going to join us after the bottom of the hour. I have, I got some crazy golf cart news for you after the top of the hour. I also have a something new for fine dining that is becoming part of the equation. You're going to be blown away by it.
Really?
It's water, okay? I'm not even making that up.
Wow, I'm really hip right
that.
now then.
Right. And Jessica Costescu will be with us from the Washington Free Beacon in the next hour. Right now, we have a St. Louis native media star. Leeland Vittert is here, News Nation host. He is a St. Louis native. He used to intern for Charlie Brennan over at KMOX, and he's got a book out that we talked about called Born Lucky, A Dedicated Father and a Grateful Son in My Journey with Autism. We talked with him about that a couple of weeks ago. Leeland, welcome back. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great, and I have to thank you. I think you were one of the very first interviews I did for Born Lucky, book that gives hope to every parent of a kid having a hard time, and the message resonated. We started off at number 4 on the New York Times bestseller list, and I don't know whether you're going to take the credit, but I'll give it to you anyway and to your listeners.
I always take credit for stuff that I'm not, deserving of credit for, but that's awesome. And I've seen a lot of my fellow media folks out there who have had you on their shows and been talking about this in particular. By the way, I don't think I said this, but I mentioned your name to Batyangar Sargon, who's a friend of the show, and she heaped unbelievable praise because she said basically she wouldn't be where she is if it wasn't for you.
Well, Batya is a good friend, and really excited to have her at News Nation. She now hosts the 4 p.m. show on Saturday, and obviously is a valued contributor and just does a great job. So we're glad to have her, and any help I can give her along the way was really just helping us and helping our viewers and our listeners hear from her. I
love Batya because she's unpredictable, and she comes at every issue with a unique perspective, and she kind of tackles every issue, separately. And I try to do that as well. on this show. Let me ask you just some thoughts on what's happening in Washington right now. On the one hand, you have, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats saying, hey, the Republicans aren't even coming back here to Washington. They say they want to do work. Why are they not here? Then you have John Thune saying, look, we've already said we're going to agree to sit down with you. We'll talk about these ACA subsidies, wherever else might be on the table, but we have to pass this CR and get the government going. They voted again, I think, today, Leland, on this, but there's no movement. So where does this thing actually get settled? Because I'm hearing more and more that this is going to last maybe even into Thanksgiving time.
Well, I think you just said the magic word. Interestingly enough, people outside of Washington have very little care for the words CR, which is a continuing resolution, which funds the government while everybody argues about things and spends more money that we don't have. We're writing in War Notes. That's our daily newsletter that comes out every day. You can subscribe for free at warnotes.com. About how the inflection points that are coming up. Number one, food stamps, which is known as Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, called SNAP.
Right.
The funding for that runs out at the end of the month. And you already have the blue state governors blaming Republicans. So wait till the weekend after the first of the month, and you're going to have a bunch of local news reporters at grocery stores as people can't afford their groceries, and then it's going to be they can't afford their turkeys. That's number one. Number two, you're going to have the continued meltdown of air traffic control and of the nationwide aviation system as flights get delayed. More and more air traffic controllers call out sick. More and more flights get delayed. And then you're going to have anchors camping out at airports. And it is going, and so that's where this is going to come to a head, right? Now, the question is, do Democrats either A, cave, B, do Republicans cave, or C, there's another option, which is that John Fetterman, the only Democrat who seems to have some understanding that we need to keep the government open, you can't just shut things down that you don't like,
right,
and that you lose when you do that. He has said that he thinks that he would vote with Republicans to break the filibuster. Normally you have to have 60 votes to get things done in the Senate because of the filibuster. There's what they call the nuclear option to break the filibuster, which, if Fetterman goes along with, would be a real statement. And I think it was probably meant as a way to try and push Democrats to start thinking about what is the off-ramp here.
So here's just, while I have this opportunity, here's what Senator Fetterman said.
Some of your Republican colleagues have proposed nuking the filibuster to force the government to reopen. What do you...
Yeah, of course. Carve it out for that, absolutely. We ran on that. We ran on killing the filibuster, and now we love it. It's like carve it out so we can move on.
So when he says carve it out, it sounds like he's saying there's a process where you could not just dump the entire filibuster process, which Republicans have been against in the past. And, you got to wonder what might happen if the Democrats are back in control, but maybe make an exception for appropriation bills or CRs like this. Is that what he's saying?
I am not an expert in the parliamentary nuance of the Senate. And I suggest no one begins to do that. This is the problem, right? And I think that is exactly what he's saying, is you start making exceptions to filibuster rule, and there already are exceptions, right, about judges, and then it was about Supreme Court justices, and on and on and on. Both sides have sort of gone one step further, always in trying, in pushing the limits. And invariably, when you do that, you end up with the other side regretting it later on. So Republicans can do that. They can bust the filibuster rule and go nuclear, as it's called in Washington. And again, at some point, they are going to come back and rue that day, just like Democrats did when they broke the filibuster for judges.
Well, what is the, I have a couple of sound bites that I'm going to play later in the show. One is from Joe Scarborough taking, a victory lap, saying the Republicans are getting killed on this shutdown thing. All the polling is against him. Then on the other hand, I have Harry Enton on a competing network of yours, giving some poll numbers that show that President Trump is actually growing in his support. So this is another one of those things where one side of the media tells you another thing and the other side says another thing. How do you even know what the truth is on this?
Well, the truth is, which often doesn't matter in Washington, that Republicans are voting over and over to keep the government open or to fund the government, and Democrats are voting against it. Now, you can like that, you cannot like that, you can spin it. that is the truth. The optics of it are different, right? And perception is reality. And Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. So when Democrats say that, as one did on my show last night, it is a very convenient talking point. And I think Republicans are starting to get better, and it's why you're now seeing them hold votes every day to say, look, we're trying to open the government. Democrats won't let us. We're trying to open the government. Democrats won't let us. And then that gives them a better position to say, okay, fine, we're going to bust the filibuster and open the government. The idea of people not having food stamps and airplanes, significantly delayed is going to be a tipping point here.
I think you're probably right about that. Let me just get your thoughts before I let you go on what happened over the weekend with No Kings. I admitted yesterday, look, I dip out of the news coverage for the weekend. I don't know about you, just because I get so much of it during the week. So I didn't see a lot of coverage of the No Kings. And what I did see was fake images that were on Twitter. What effect, if any, does that have? Were those real people out there? It was mainly white people over the age of 60, I think, who were protesting. But thoughts on what went on over the weekend?
Oh, boy. I think there's a lot there. I think it is very real. I think there's an anger among a certain group of people, and you can easily dismiss them. I would just remind Republicans that Democrats laughed at the Tea Party in 2009, and then we ended up with Donald Trump, we collectively meaning America, in 2016. So dismiss these kinds of movements at your own peril, whichever side does so. The next part of it, I would say, is that I was really struck by the interviews of how many people were willing to talk, either openly celebrating or calling for violence. That was, I thought, pretty significant and scary. And third, I think that the last part of what we saw is that Democrats, and we'll have this on the show tonight, Democrats are all in on resisting Trump. Every time they've done that, it has not worked out well. The American people are not interested in resistance. They're selfish. They're interested in things that can help them. And I think that the more Democrats play into that, is why Trump keeps bear baiting them over and over and over again to be more about hating Trump. When Democrats are hating Trump, that's good for Trump.
Check out Leeland tonight, News Nation, 8 p.m. Central, if I'm not mistaken. That is correct, right? I want to make sure I get the right time on there, Leeland. And give the website for the book as well.
So bornluckybook.com. It is back in stock on Amazon. And join the Born Lucky journey. I've not heard from anybody who's upset that they did.
That's awesome. No, I've heard great response and great reaction. Thank you so much for coming on this afternoon. Always appreciate it.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Take care. Rene Knott is coming up on the other side of the break.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
If you are westbound on 64, we've got an accident reported really close to Hampton. And there's some slow-moving traffic behind that. Southbound 170, some moderate volume. And that's south of Olive down through 64. Southbound 270, that's slow pockets. This time it's approaching Page down through Doherty Ferry, and a little bit slow westbound 44 at 270, southbound 55 at Bates. 70 out of downtown isn't bad, but look for a little bit of moderate volume just west of 94 at K and at Wentzville. And if you're headed into Illinois, we look pretty good. This report brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For 25 years, they've been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out. From windows and siding to kitchens, baths, and outdoor spaces, they give you quality craftsmanship and lifetime warranties. Go to lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's Traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/free. QUO.com/free.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
And this portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
Hey, it's Jane Duker. Congrats, 97.1 FM Talk on 25 years. For me, you've always been a place where we could have honest debates about important public policy issues. Cheers to the next chapter.
Okay, so I had a listener weigh in on my almost lost dog issue, and he said put an Apple AirTag on the collar.
Oh, not a bad idea.
I think that's a good idea.
It's a good idea, but also maybe a leash.
Well, okay, but I want him to run off the leash because he gets exercise that way, and I like to break the rules. So I can't have him sprinting the way that I want to. I think I just need – it could be a two-person job, too. In other words, if Becky's out there with me or Alexa, then you kind of have a little bit different dynamic going on. All right, well, the big media story here on St. Louis has been about Rene Knott leaving 5 on Your Side, morning anchor role on KSDK. He's been making a lot of comments in the aftermath of that up on Facebook and on X, and was on one of our sister stations yesterday, KMOX. And, Rene, we tried to grab you, and then you slipped out the back door because I was going to ask you to come on yesterday in person. But you're on with us on the phone this afternoon. How are you?
Doing all right. I apologize for not being able to come in today, but as reality becomes reality, it's becoming a little bit more difficult. Still on that downslide of life, and hoping that be close to bouncing back up.
Yeah, look, and I say this with all sincerity, and you probably don't know this about me, but I had a pretty serious mental health issue over the summer. I missed almost 7-8 weeks of work. I mean, it was awful, and I've talked about it quite publicly. But with all sincerity, just going through something like this, I worry about people, and I worry about you because I hear things, and I know you say you're not really a stressed person, but let's be honest here. This is a stressful situation, right?
I would say, yes, it is a stressful situation if you're someone without hope. But I cling to my hope. I cling to my faith. And I just, for me, being stressed out about it doesn't solve the problems, doesn't move you forward. And truly, you have to look towards what could happen, what are the possibilities. Because if I spend my time staying stagnant, staying in the here and the now as far as that just happened to me. Oh, my gosh. Well, that's not going to do me any good. It's not going to do my wife any good. Not going to do my family any good. So my thought is, well, what's next? What else can we do? What can I continue to do that I love to do and find a way to make that work? And I love telling St. Louis stories. I love being a part of our community, and I don't believe I'm going to walk away from that or stop trying to do that.
Well, you're good at what you do. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Plus, you got to keep dressing the way you are, because I've declared that you're the best dressed guy in media in St. Louis.
That is very nice of you.
But
there's a lot of suits that have gone unused for the last couple of weeks.
No, I like your style. I really do. But look, what do you think happened? I mean, is the St. Louis Magazine, Sarah Fenskey's pretty buttoned up on stuff, and obviously they gave you a chance to respond, and we went through the update yesterday of sort of the timeline of all this. Did you think that the piece that Sarah did in St. Louis Magazine, was that fair to you, do you think?
I mean, I just find it odd that I'm, trying to defend myself around accusations and allegations and things like that and unnamed sources. But at the same time, I understand that's also what journalists do. Oftentimes you get information and then you need to follow it up as best you can with the person that is being named. So I'm the person being named. It's difficult because I think it breaks my heart. Not that I think, gosh, it breaks my heart to know that someone thought those things about me, or someone believes that this is a part of my being, that I would be someone of that type of nature. And I have never threatened anyone. I've never made points to, hey, I'm going to get you or anything like that. If anything I said, it was either in a joking manner, right, or I didn't say it at all, or it was something that was taken out of context of an original conversation. The hard part about all this is when I did talk with our HR person, it was never, well, on June 5th, you had this and you said that, and then that person responded that way. It was just, had you ever used this word? Had you ever said this? And it was a very, I don't want to say, corporate type of responses when I thought that the person knows me and would probably understand that I'm pretty sure I didn't say that, right, or didn't say it in the way that it's being assumed.
Yeah, well, so, my gut on this, and let me just be honest, my gut's always wrong, but it seemed like maybe this is a money thing, a contract thing, or it was an HR issue, which it turned out to be. And my initial comments last week were, well, this was someone who was triggered, and we talk about snowflakes all the time, but you firmly believe that whatever they were trying to pin on you was something that was mischaracterized and things that you simply did not say.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say this. You know me, and you've been around me. We've done events together. I remember we did one off of Cass Avenue together.
Yep.
And never once have it would be hard-pressed to find someone to feel like I ever insulted them, let alone threatened them, let alone try to big up them. In other words, you know who I am type of thing.
Right. Yeah.
I have no reason to be that person. I have no gain in those opportunities. My thing has always been to treat people the way I want to be treated. And I don't care who you are, what you do, everybody's the same to me. So if I'm meeting the president today, and earlier I just talked to the guy who opened the door, I'm going to say the same things to them as far as, hey, how you doing? Great to see you. Thank you so much. So I guess the hard part in all of this is I am defending accusations where I keep saying, if something was said, what was the context of the conversation? Did I just get off the elevator and start yelling all this stuff like, and if that's the case, well, how was I still there all this time?
Yeah, that's what makes it frustrating because, you don't know. Right. And look,
I don't know. And it hurts. I said here today, I talked to someone earlier and they brought up a different accusation, and it just hurts me to think that, one, either someone actually felt that, or two, someone is just saying that to back up an argument. And then I keep saying to myself, well, what is their gain?
Yeah.
I mean, if their gain was for me not to be there, I'm not there, okay? move on with your life. I'm trying to move on with my life, but I don't know.
So when this all happened last week, here's the thing. Like, you do the same thing if and I'm not as high profile, but if another media member was in a situation, you'd be curious, right? So I'm trying to find out what happened. I'm like, okay, what the hell happened here? I'm asking people. Somebody tells me something that was a comment that was made about guns, and I thought that's outrageous. That's not the Rene. I don't repeat that to anyone because I'm thinking that is not the guy that I know, and it just seems so weird that would be even something that you would say. But then that ends up being part of the equation that's in the St. Louis Magazine story and a reference to an AK-47. And you made clear in your Facebook post, look, I don't even have guns, right?
I don't. I have to kind of laugh only because it keeps me from being frustrated because I'm going, I don't have guns. I don't believe in guns. I've never touched a gun. I've never been around one outside of standing next to a police officer or doing a story about someone who is shooting guns. In other words, I did a story on women buying more, becoming, what I want to say, getting their gun licenses and things like that.
Right.
And I did a couple of stories about people who fire the shotguns for Olympic competitions. But aside from that, I'm not around them. And the biggest problem I have with guns is when you're in St. Louis media, you see and read and talk about shootings and report shootings all the time. And 99% of those shootings happen in a certain community, happens in my community, in the black community. Mm-hmm. And so I get tired and sickened of the fact that young black minds, young black dads, young black sisters, and it just aren't surviving. And so we don't know the great people who could have been because of these things over trivial stuff. So I'm not going to make light of trivial things. So I don't know where those conversations came from. I don't know if that was someone that felt like, oh, he said that directly or overheard me say something and never heard the rest of it. My conversations with our HR department when I was asked questions was about wording. And did you say this? Not like, did you direct us to this person and then threaten them in this way? None of that. It was more or less the things that I was supposedly had said that person felt concerned about.
Yeah, and then they cite, I'm guessing, a zero tolerance policy.
Well, yeah, and obviously I know about this, but my thing was I understand the zero tolerance policy, but are we taking into account what the conversation was?
Yeah, right.
Because
the context,
if you're waiting until that day, they're saying people talk to multiple people, and all this was going on, and I'm going, okay, so this was going on for how many weeks, how many months, how many years, and no one said anything to me until Thursday 2 weeks ago,
October 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rene, it's Sue
I'm
Thomas.
sorry, that Friday. It wasn't even that Thursday. It was that Friday, so the 10th. No one said anything to me until then.
Yeah, that's weird.
I guess my question, Rene, it's Sue Thomas, is kind of the same thing. In other words, you don't really get to defend yourself if no one will say, well, here's the scenario we were given. Yeah. Did this happen? Yeah. So I guess part of my frustration on your behalf would be, how do I address something when it's all nebulous stuff out in the air? Not here's a specific situation.
It's really hard, and I think too that if all you do is trying to defend, that people are going to go, well, he must have done something because look, he's talking to this person and talking to that person. Last thing I want is that my life is this public now. And I told my wife the other day, I go, I guess I have been a public person being on television, not understanding that your life after that is still a public interest.
Right.
Because, the questions people ask of me are the questions I've asked of others because, you're on a story and all that. And I was like, wow, it's flipped in the other direction. This must be what it's like for that person to try to get someone to understand. And yet they're still skeptical. Well, there's got to be, where there's smoke, there's fire type of thing. And I'm just going, I don't believe so. That's not to say that my perception is someone else's perception.
No, and I get
Does that
that.
make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Look, I'm the worst person when it comes to looking only through my lens and not other people's lens. And
Well,
I've tried to work
sarcasm.
on that. I've tried to work on that a little bit because it's important to do. So here, I have. There's one hang up I have in all this that I don't understand. Why resign? Why not make them fire you?
Which is a great question and a wonderful question. And I go, yes, I get that. So here's why. Why would you want to work or be a part of a team that you feel doesn't want to be a part of the team? Why would you want to enter a place and wonder, well, who is with me and who's against me? Who is welcoming the fact that I'm there and believe that I'm a part of this, or it's like, oh, it's him again.
Yeah.
I wish he would leave. And so I just felt that all that I have done there over 21 years, which, and I keep making the point, I never had a bad review, never been to HR, have had glorious opportunities to do so many things, including cover 4 Olympics, representing our station and representing our country.
And wait, by the way, and they were looking at you. We didn't mention this, but they were going to put you in the 5 p.m. anchor slot, right?
Well, I was going to, and hopefully that was going to lead to something down the line if Mike ever decided to retire, and I actually became somebody that people trusted in the evening. And I thought, well, then how can I achieve all of that, yet at the same time be this behind-the-scenes person? And then no one knew anything about it till that day, or no one had said anything about it till that day. How come it wasn't brought up to me in the prior to? Why wasn't whispered about?
Yeah, that's baffling. I'll agree. That's
I'm not saying, and someone asked me this the other day, you think someone's out to get you? I said, no, I don't believe so. I just don't understand. And one thing that after having the conversation with HR, that I started to understand was that even though I may think whatever I said might be a joke, might be, because I'm talking to you and not to someone else, but if someone else hears it and perceives it differently, then it becomes a concern for them. So they take that concern to HR, but the concern never comes back to you.
Yeah, and that's what happens. Look, this is a different climate, and you're talking to someone who's got a pretty thick HR folder, unfortunately. So I know how these things work, and I've seen the changes, over the last decade in particular. Listen, clocks on television and radio better than anyone. I got to get to a break here, but I appreciate you coming on here and hang in there, dude, because, look, this is tough, and I know you say you're not stressed, but if you're not sleeping and you're losing weight, believe me, you're stressed. So hang in there, stay positive, and keep us posted.
I can lose weight. Oh, I appreciate that. You take care of yourself.
All right.
And we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Rene. I appreciate it.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, we've got some volume out there. There was an accident westbound 6440, really close to Hampton, and that's causing a delay. Watch for that one in the right lane, and traffic is stacked up back past Kings Highway. Then some moderate volume headed for 270, and then moderate volume in pockets on out through the 70 split. Now, 70 westbound, a little bit slow. There was an accident past Jennings Station Road. A little bit of a slowdown at the airport, then pockets out through 64. Now, it's southbound 270 that's lined up, and it's mainly from Page, in pockets down through Doherty Ferry, but northbound is slow at 64. And we do have some volume if you are southbound 55. That would be south of Arsenal on down through Bates. This report is brought to you by Aspen Contracting. Is your home siding cracked, faded, or storm damaged? Aspen Contracting has the materials, manpower, and project managers to get the job done fast. Don't let your home become an eyesore. Call Aspen today for your free siding inspection, 636-465-1696. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's Traffic 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, let me guide you into some new windows or maybe some beautiful new siding on the part of Banner Construction. They can help you out. You can get into a free in-home design consultation. Learn about Banner, what they're all about, what they can do for you, how they specialize in Pella windows and doors, and they're the best in the industry. There's no doubt about that. And James Hardy Fiber Cement Siding as well. But it all begins with that sit-down interview, if you will, or meeting with the design consultants, because what they love to do is get creative. And little small architectural differences will make huge differences when it comes to the curb appeal and just the look and feel of your home. And this is what they understand and have been doing since 1993 here in St. Louis. You can click on some examples of the homes that have been helped with either the James Hardy siding or the Pella windows on the showcase portion of the bannerconstruction.com website, or just call. Get them into your home. Talk about a project, 314-569-1050 or bannerconstruction.com.
Hi, it's Griff Jenkins. Happy 25th to 97.1 FM Talk. This station has been part of my life for years, and to me, it means connecting with my talk radio roots, so thanks for being the conservative voice of St. Louis.
One of the biggest gifts you can give your family is peace of mind. That's why I trust and recommend Civia Law. They've helped so many families, including mine, right here in our community with estate planning, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, and elder law issues. I've seen how stressful it can be when a loved one passes without a plan. Families are left confused, sometimes tied up in probate court, and it can cost so much in time and money. But with Civia Law, you don't have to worry about that. They'll walk you through everything and even deliver your completed documents in just 2 weeks from your first appointment. And here's something special just for you. Mention the Annie Fry Show, and the first 10 listeners right now will get a free strategy session. That's a $300 value. 833-995-WILL. Just be sure to mention the Annie Fry Show when you call. Civia Law has 7 convenient locations across Illinois and Missouri, including in Edwardsville, Swansea, and Creve Coeur. Secure your legacy and protect the people you love. Call 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL, or visit civialaw.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
From politics to pop culture, Reardon breaks it all down. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, Sue, as you know, we're only a couple of days away. 48 hours from now, we'll be live at Lit Cigar Lounge out in Chesterfield. It's right near the factory and Top Golf out there. We're doing our big birthday party and can't wait to see a bunch of folks, especially those who took the time and spent the money on the VIP tickets. We still have RSVPs available. It's a free event, so you don't need to spend any money, but we'd like to know how many people are coming. You can do that at 971talk.com and register for the event. Great to talk with Rene Knott. I'm glad that he did it. I mean, you know, there is a part of me, just because I've seen what's happened with HR departments, and candidly, I've been involved with them. And, you know, I had somebody tell me that was in a supervisory position in a different company that it's just not the same that it is. I mean, that they said you would not believe some of the things that come in as HR complaints from younger workers in particular that should not be in any circumstances HR complaints. Now, the thing about Rene's deal that's a little different is the whole thing with guns. That doesn't make any sense. It's hard for me to believe that wasn't said in a way that was taken out of context. But there are some of these things that we're just never going to know. I mean, he's being very aggressive in defending himself. The company's not going to say anything at this point. And unless someone over there says things on the record, which I would not expect that they would do, there'll be a lot of mystery to this. But I can understand, just as someone who would be a little confused, you know, in his own situation, that you have people making accusations, and then there's more accusations, and then the next thing you know, boom, you're gone, and you say, wait a second, how did this happen so quickly?
And somebody brought up online, I wonder, you know what we didn't ask him is if he has a non-compete. Because somebody said maybe he could take over for Pertzborn.
Well, I think that if he quit, that
might negate it,
I
right?
don't know.
But I don't know how that works.
Yeah, that's
and
a good question.
I forgot to ask
That
him.
is a good question. Well, look, I think he's going to be in the market for work, and he's talented, and he should find it. But that's interesting. I didn't think about the Perchmorn thing, right? But let's face it, Sue, as there's negative publicity that also has surrounded that makes other companies nervous.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
The accident westbound 6440 near Hampton has been moved from the right lane to the right shoulder. We've got a tow truck on the scene and an ambulance, but it is catching the eye of drivers, and we've got heavy traffic back past Kings Highway. Then there was an accident westbound 70, really close to Bermuda. That's causing a delay. And let's see, westbound traffic on 44 looks fine. Southbound 270, slow pockets from Page down through Gravois, and southbound 55 is slowing from Arsenal down through Bates. We look fine if you're headed into Illinois. This report is brought to you by the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Lights flickering?
Grasser can fix it.
Breaker keeps tripping?
That's a Grasser job.
Outlet not working?
Grasser makes it right.
Old wiring need a rewire?
Grasser rewires with care.
From little fixes to major fixes.
Even the tricky ones.
We treat your home like our own.
Treat? Did you say treat?
Woof. Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. You can take 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleanings. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the saving.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
The U.S. government's been shut down for 3 weeks. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News, and each side is telling the other to budge.
The party in power would rather suffer a shutdown and negotiate with Democrats to lower costs.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he and the top House Democrat have reached out to President Trump asking for talks to address what they call a health care crisis, with Obamacare subsidies expiring this year. Senate Majority Leader John Thune.
People keep saying, negotiate. Negotiate what? I don't know what that is right now. The government needs to open up, and then we're happy to sit down and talk about any other issues that Democrats want to talk about.
President Trump urging Democrats to stop the madness, as he puts it, accusing them of holding the government hostage to appease extremists in their party. A short-term spending bill passed by the House has failed to reach the 60 votes needed to advance in the Senate 11 times. The president just hosting a Diwali celebration in the Oval Office, marking the Hindu Festival of Lights, and saying he spoke today with India's prime minister about trade. Homeland Security officials say a U.S. Marshal and an illegal immigrant were shot during an immigration enforcement traffic stop earlier today near downtown L.A., and that the target had previously escaped from custody.
Now, DHS writes about today's shooting. The illegal alien weaponized his vehicle and began ramming the law enforcement vehicle in an attempt to flee. Fearing for the safety of the public and law enforcement, our officers followed their training and fired defensive shots. The illegal alien was shot in the elbow, and one law enforcement officer was shot in the hand by a ricochet bullet. Both are in the hospital.
Fox's Matt Finn. DHS says vehicle rammings are part of a jump in assaults on its law enforcement officers. Just getting word of a tanker truck filled with gasoline exploding in Nigeria, killing at least 31 people. America is listening to Fox News.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's been another windy afternoon, but those winds quickly diminish with the setting sun, and our temperatures tumble. Clear skies in the 50s for evening plans. Wetter weather, 43 for the overnight low. Wednesday, plenty of sunshine. Breezy in the afternoon, not quite as windy, but still breezy, 64. Clear skies, 43 Wednesday night. Thursday, sunny and 66. Clouds come rolling back in on Friday, and we've got periods of rain. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Tuesday afternoon, another beautiful, beautiful day in St. Louis as we get closer to our 97.1 FM Talk birthday party, which is coming up on Thursday. 25 years in the St. Louis market. All started back, well, it was last Thursday, 25 years ago, but here we go with the official party. Now, the VIP tickets are all sold out, but if you go to our website, 971talk.com, you'll see the link for the party. And all you have to do is RSVP. There's a link. You press, boom. I'm going to do it right now and see if it works. Otherwise, I'll be lying to the audience. We wouldn't want that to happen this afternoon, would we? And you just have to enter a little information for RSVP. So it's at Lit Cigar Lounge, which is on the outer road where the factory is and Topgolf out there near Boone's Crossing. So you would basically get off at Boone's Crossing. And Mark will be there with me, kind of co-anchoring Annie. We have the entire crew from 97.1 FM Talk. I think Ethan is coming out as well, which is good. It's presented by Rhino Shield and U.S. Men's Medical Center. But on that link that I just mentioned, it says RSVP General Admission. And all you have to do there is press on the link and then, register. We'll have music there from Pretty Weeds, sandwiches made to order by Napoli. You can celebrate 25 years of 97.1 FM Talk with the station and everyone that makes it happen. We have great, great audience response to all these things. I can't wait to see who's there on Thursday because every time that we go out, either it's a fish fry or something like that, we have, it blows me away, Fred. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
And I've said this before.
It'll
I've been around radio promotions for a long time, and these are impressive folks, the listeners, because they're educated, they're very passionate, and they're very loyal. All right, a couple things I wanted to talk about. Didn't we just have a conversation about golf carts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Related to Sue's News, or was it something else that came up?
No. You were talking about someone in the city who had stolen like 6 or 7.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, Fred, I can't remember what happened 24 hours ago. That was the story 24 hours ago. That was the story that was in the Post about this guy that was basically collecting golf carts, and he was going to, sell them, and then they arrested the guy. But we were talking just because they have become rather fashionable in neighborhoods just to zip around. I got a couple in my neighborhood. You're going up and down the block with the kids or something like that. If you do live near a road that can get you to a store or something like that, people do go out on the roads, which is why this story kind of comes along. This is from CBS News, and it starts this way. For someone with zero interest in golf, Kathy Cockensparger sure loves her golf cart. She bought it as a family cruiser and drives around town almost daily, but says that safety is paramount. This is in Michigan, by the way. This is in St. John's, Michigan. There's 8,000 people there. But apparently, they're basically saying that golf carts are side by side with all the other traffic, which is presenting some difficulties. So they're trying to put restrictions on the roads that the carts can be driven on, because they say that they have 8,000 people live in this place, St. John's, Michigan. They have 2,000 golf carts used primarily for transportation. And this really jumped out.
As opposed to, golf.
As opposed to golf.
Yeah.
All right, so this is what I was going to illustrate here. This is crazy. So the guy who owns the business, who's selling the golf carts, Michael Fagan is his name. What percentage of golfers represent his customer base? How high would that percentage be?
I'm saying, what do you say, Fred?
I'll say 40%.
Oh, I would say 20.
5%.
Wow. Oh, my gosh.
He says the big seller is lifestyle. He goes, and now so I haven't seen this yet, but this is going to give some people ideas. There are people that are putting, he says his company does this, they put snowplows on them, salt spreaders. And he says, people are looking at me goofy when I say that, but we probably sell 15 to 20 snowplows a year. That kind of makes sense to me, right?
Wow.
You put a blade on the front of one of those things. But what they're doing in St. John's, Michigan, is they're trying to, figure out how to keep people safe, because one guy's quoted as saying, if a cart hits a car, the golf cart is going to lose, which is true. They also just started inspecting golf carts, similar to cars, for working turn signals and horns. Drivers do have to be 18 years old. They have to have a valid driver's license. But it's kind of interesting the way that these things have taken off. Every time I'm at like an outdoor show or something like that, they always feature golf carts because they become a part of people's lifestyle.
I got addicted to golf cart use like in Florida. We had a vacation in Delray Beach, and there was one, at our condo, and we just drove it all over this very small town. But it got us everywhere, and it was great.
Well, that's what we do when we're in Captiva. My friend Tim McGowan has several golf carts, and we're able to use one. And Alexa may or may not be allowed to drive illegally, but we're right there on Captiva. We just go right into where the restaurants are, and it's like 3 minutes on the golf cart. It's awesome.
Well, I think part of it, though, is that thing that they let kids drive and all kinds of stuff. And if you're in a bad traffic situation, that's not good.
Right, no.
But, wow, I saw a fancy one the other day. I was going to Kirkwood. I mean, this thing was like up. It had tires, huge tires.
It's crazy.
I mean, people are spending big bucks on this stuff.
I think you're talking $20,000 to $30,000 on some of these things.
Oh, my gosh.
Last time I was in Florida, I was in Lakeland, and I did some dog sitting for friends. And they had a golf cart on their golf course.
Yeah.
And we would take the dogs for rides around the subdivision.
Yeah.
Although I was always afraid of the dogs falling out. So I'd use a tie to keep them in. The dogs were probably like, you fool.
Yeah.
We're not going to fall out.
They're fine with it, right?
But it was fun.
Well, you're going to see more and more of them out there. Just don't steal them like that dude got arrested for. Or you might get a good deal on those if they,
Yeah, that's a good point
keep
there.
those into police custody. All right, so you tell me if, I'm a pretty simple dining person. I like good food. I like fine food. But when they ask you what kind of water you want, I'm like, tap is fine.
Yeah.
I don't really care. So in the Wall Street Journal, they have this story, and this starts with a woman named Magdalena Kelly, who was browsing drinks at a Michelin-starred restaurant in New York, wondering might pair well with the $175 steak that she was going to share with three friends. The server recommended something smooth and full-bodied. It was an $11 bottle of still water from the East Coast.
Oh, my gosh.
Unlike most people who are drawn to higher-end restaurants for the food, no, why would you want to do that? Callie went to Gwen over the summer specifically to check out the L.A. I thought it was in New York. It's L.A. The Hotspots water menu, part of a small but growing contingent interested in the rarefied world of fine water.
That is hilarious.
This woman who is quoted in here, and she loves Evian, I'm absolutely obsessed with the taste and the texture. You ever think that water had texture?
Well, I mean, you can get still or sparkling, depending on where you are. Is that
that's
what they mean?
Callie says that she tried a $12 Georgian sparkling water, Borjomi, described on the menu as salty and complex.
Oh.
The salinity, she said, helped highlight the differences between the various waters she's tried. It was fascinating to see that the water with the lighter mineral content paired nicely with our appetizers.
That is hilarious. But now, that being said, we got a refrigerator in this house that has a beverage center, and it has some kind of filter on it, and it has a thing that lets me put sliced fruit in it to make spa water, and I love it.
Okay.
So you can taste the little difference, but
I believe that.
$11
I
or
believe that.
$12. I mean, can I taste the saltiness? I guess
They have a water sommelier at Gwen's in L.A.
That's where the line is.
Martin Reese says that the restaurant makes as much as $100,000 a year just in water sales. And this is funny, too. So if you go to this place, they have a detailed book with lengthy descriptions of each water's origin and a flavor profile of water.
Oh, my God.
It includes bottles from as far away as Australia and Armenia. Most costs to between $11 and $13. And then they point out in the story, it also offers tap water, priced at $0. Served by the glass, the Los Angeles tap water has more minerals and electrolytes dissolved than most purified bottled waters, the menu notes. Just like our water here in St. Louis. We have good quality
we have
water,
great
right?
water.
But that, I thought, are you kidding me? $11 for just a glass of water?
Somebody is a genius.
Yeah,
for
and if
coming up
you're
with
the
this.
elitist that thinks you need fancy water, I think you got bigger problems.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads tonight, there was an accident on westbound 6440, really close to Hampton. And they moved it off to the right shoulder, but it still looks like a slow go through there. Southbound 170 is still lined up, and that's from Olive down through 64. Westbound 70, moderate volume at Jennings Station Road. Eastbound is slowing as you head for Lindbergh. Westbound slowing again in the O'Fallon area. Southbound 270, slow pockets from Page down through 21, and 55 is pretty slow too. South of Arsenal through Bates. We've got volume westbound on 44 right in front of the Arch Grounds and westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. This report brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
In the 70s, baseball player Jerry Kelly decided to do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
This year, the company Jerry started decided we'd do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air and Electrical.
And electrical.
JerryKelly.com.
Are you nearing retirement and starting to wonder if you have enough money saved to retire? You really need professional help. This is not something where you think, well, we'll just wing it. We'll see how it goes. I mean, there are tax implications. Do you know how taxes work in retirement? Do you have a handle on how things work as far as getting your income straight and how much you're going to get a month? Well, I like the idea that financial and tax architects have, and that is, let's teach people some of this stuff. And they do a class called Retirement Planning 101. It's free. They hold it at colleges. You have to register, but you can go and learn some of this and also see how financial and tax architects work. And if you like them, they can sit down with you, help you, and come up with a plan. So give them a call and go to a class. 314-888-5101. 314-888-5101. What do you have to lose? It's just learning more and then go from there.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Windows specialist. With winter just around the corner, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction, 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gellman from the Gellman team of eXp Realty. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. 314-336-1991. Go to thegellmanteam.com.
Hey Stewie, I need some cash. I need money. Who doesn't need money? What can you do for me?
You know, Annie, this is a question people ask all the time. Now pay attention because this is important. Don't get a home equity line of credit. A home equity line of credit is a credit card on your house. It's typically not a fixed rate, so it's an adjustable. you pay interest only. And there's a short-term opportunity to take the money out, and then later on, it turns into a loan that's a really high interest rate. Cash out refinance. That's the most important thing. Refinance your entire mortgage. Get the best rate that's out there. Give yourself the opportunity to refinance later when the rates drop. A cash out refinance is a little bit higher of a rate than a rate and term refinance. Do the cash out now. Set yourself up for the future and get the best deal out there. Just do me one favor. Don't tell my wife about this because she's going to want all the cash in the world to buy a new car.
Well, if you want to know more, Google the Bagel Loan to find out more information or call my friend Stewie, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
Are you looking for a podcast about pro football that doesn't put you to sleep with an avalanche of analytics or insult your fandom with brainless hot takes? Well, hi. I'm Dan Hansis.
And I'm Mark Sessler.
Oh, hi, Mark. And we're the hosts of Heed the Call, the NFL podcast you've been waiting your whole life for.
Heed the Call covers every game, every storyline, everything that matters, and we do it all with a touch of mirth.
Football is fun. Why shouldn't your football podcast be the same?
Follow and listen to Heed the Call NFL podcast wherever you get your podcast.
This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I love the Free Press, the FP.com, Barry Weiss's organization. Jessica Costescu, who is a Washington Free Beacon reporter, has been working on stories about the crackdown on fentanyl coming across the border. I thought that was in the Free Press, though. Was it not, Fred? Maybe I was confused.
Yeah, I think maybe she does both.
Yeah, I think she does, too. But anyway, good reporting there. She'll be on here in a few minutes. We got David Strom from hotair.com in the 5 o'clock hour, and then Mark Gellman with the Gellman team. A little real estate update. We'd like to do that every once in a while. Let's do this here this afternoon on a Tuesday afternoon edition.
These allegations are deeply concerning.
Does the president have any comment?
We're not going to comment.
It's not clear messaging.
No.
And now, Sue's News, presented by U.S. Men's Medical Center.
I'll tell you what, happy National Apple Day. Ooh. What's your favorite apple, Fred?
Right now, it was, I can't think what it was, but it's Cosmic right now.
Oh, interesting.
Cosmic apples.
I like a Fuji and or an Envy.
Or a Honeycrisp.
A Honeycrisp, interesting. What are yours, Mark?
I like a Fuji and a Honeycrisp.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Try
the
an
Honeycrisp
Envy,
doesn't, like at one point those things were so expensive, but they don't seem to be as expensive as they used to be.
They're everywhere now.
Right.
Try an Envy, it's sweet.
What's that? Is it a red apple still?
Yeah, it's red.
Yeah.
Red.
Okay.
I think you might like it. It's also National Pumpkin Cheesecake Day, which sounds really good to me. And here's something important. It's National Reptile Awareness Day. Huh?
Yeah,
be aware of reptiles. And it's Back to the Future Day. In celebration that it's because of the movie, which, by the way, came out in 1989. But listen to this. Casio is re-releasing the calculator watch that Marty McFly wore in Back to the Future 2. And you can go online and pre-order them today. And they've got close-ups. And sure enough, there's these tiny little buttons. You could do a calculator on his watch. Because that was 2015, and then Doc went up forward to get him and bring him back. But that's what you can do from Casio. I just thought that was kind of cute.
In other news, Casio is still a company, which is, I think, the entire point of the promotion.
Oh, my gosh. That is 100% accurate. On this day in history, 146 years ago, in 1879, Thomas Edison turned on the first working light bulb in Menlo Park, New Jersey. It shined for 40 hours. It just freaks me out that that's how far back the light bulb goes. It's the 1879, and that's one of those things, of course, that changed the world. That and air flight. And 107 years ago today, it's 1918. I want you to think back. Think of yourself in typing class, right? Okay. Did you do that, Fred? Did you have typing class? And we had the Selectrics.
I had typing class.
Okay.
You wanted to always hit 90
I had
words
typing
a minute
class.
or
I think I had typing class with Chip Carey. I think that was one of the classes.
No, you did not.
Yeah, no,
okay,
serious.
that's hysterical.
And then Red Berenson's daughter, Sandy. Remember Red Berenson was the coach of the Blues? And this is, I don't know, it's weird I remember those things, but I do.
I had Jeff Etter in my class, and he was just Jeff Etter from Kirkwood.
But you remember, though. You remember that.
Yes. Now, this was 107 years ago. In 1918, Margaret Owen of New York City set a typing speed record. Now, this was on a manual typewriter. 170 words per minute with no errors. How is that
Very
possible? You'd have to be. I mean, I thought I did well one time.
I don't think I could do that
50.
on a computer right now.
Right.
Yeah, I always thought like 95 was amazing.
Did you get 95?
I was pretty good.
Oh, my gosh, Fred. Oh, we could time you. Let's see if we can get Fred to type 95 a minute. That's impressive.
All right, so do you consider yourself, like, I think I'm a pretty good typer.
I'm
And
pretty all right.
I had to become one because I used to write a lot of news copy. And when you're writing news copy, you got to do it fast.
Yeah.
So I became very good at typing. Fred, you consider yourself a good
I'm
typer?
better as a typist than I am a texter.
Okay.
Well, that's fair.
I'm not very good
We
at that.
might have a contest on that. Maybe Jane can time us. I don't even remember how you... Do you just say it's like 1 minute and type all you can and then they look at the errors?
I don't know.
They subtract for
We'd have to
errors.
type like the same thing, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true,
Like
too.
the lazy brown fox jumped over the...
Right.
I like sampling food a lot better
Me too.
than typewriter.
Yeah, right. Let's do that.
22 years ago today, in 2003, a guy named Kirk Jones became the first person to survive going over Niagara Falls without safety devices. Nothing. He just went whoosh. And, of course, he was charged with illegally performing a stunt. This is not recommended for the kids. Okay, now a new analysis looked into airlines with the worst customer satisfaction worldwide. Mark, which was the one you couldn't stand?
The airline?
Yeah.
Lufthansa.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That includes...
Somebody else just came back on Lufthansa, and I asked them, and like, yeah, terrible.
well,
Jane. It was Jane.
It was Jane. All
Yeah.
right, let's see if it's on the list. This includes complaints for cancellations, delays, lost baggage, safety, poor customer service, poor traveling. They crunched the numbers and put out a dissatisfaction index of the world's most disliked airlines. All right, number 10 was British Airways. Number 9 is Wizz Air. How is that a thing? W-I-Z-Z? Number 8, Scandinavian Airlines, Aeromexico, Air Asia, Ryanair, Air France. Here are the top 3. Least customer, this is worst customer satisfaction.
Okay.
Number 3 is United. Number 2 is Frontier. And number 1 is American. No mention of Spirit. So
those top choices do not surprise me at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, American doesn't surprise me.
By the way, on that front, have you seen... Maybe I talked about this right, but have you seen the marketing they're doing for the Southwest? You know, you get to...
No, what is it?
That's
What
crazy.
is it? No.
It's interesting because they're running ads that are almost kind of mocking themselves. They're doing it in a comedic way to show you that they're changing their seating policy, but it's a bit of a goofy type of campaign.
Like the people are excited that it's changing, that they can now order their seats ahead of time.
Wait, is it with tongue in cheek?
Well, I don't think so, but there's a bit of a comedic tone, wouldn't you say, Fred?
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. But it's a unique approach, and they've been doing it here for about a month.
Especially
I have not
during baseball playoffs.
Yeah, I've seen it during sports,
yeah.
right?
Just in case people are traveling. Well, I'm going to stick with my travel theme. There's a travel report from Google that found the best prices for Thanksgiving plane tickets tend to be 35 days before you want to travel, so that is now. If you are going to travel for Thanksgiving, go ahead and make that reservation today. Thanksgiving is 37 days off. You're probably not looking to fly on the day itself, so go ahead and see what you can do. Now, the good news is you can still get a decent price up to 24 days before you fly. So if you do need to wait another week or two, you're probably okay. Bad news is those might not be the only tickets you're buying in the next few weeks. And if you want to buy for Christmas, that's 51 days out. And then I read that and thought, it's 51 days out till Christmas.
By the way,
holy cow.
Guess what was on my home after I left with the dog? I told you the dog story. When I got back, guess what was on my house?
The Christmas lights?
Christmas lights were
Oh my
up
gosh,
today.
how far are you going to wait? How long?
I'm. You know what I did? I used to have this rule. It was a very important rule to me. Don't put those things on before Thanksgiving, right? If they're on your house. But I flipped them on the Sunday before Thanksgiving. I felt like the Christmas spirit was warranted last year, so I'll probably flip them on that Monday, the Sunday or Monday before Thanksgiving.
I think
that's acceptable, isn't
that
it?
is really. Wait, the Monday before Thanksgiving?
Yes, Thanksgiving is a Thursday.
All right.
So that's all I'm doing is like 3 or 4 days
I guess
past
that's
the
not
universal
horrible.
rule that I used to want to enforce upon people. Look, my positions, like anything else, have evolved over the years. I'm a kinder, gentler Mark Reardon when it
that's
comes to the
mature.
holidays.
Fred, do you put any up?
We have like one simple strand.
Well, that's fine. When do you do that? The Monday before
whenever it shows
Thanksgiving?
up,
Monday
whenever
before
Marie
Christmas.
does it.
Yeah, no kidding. All
But
right.
now, the reason I brought this up yesterday is because last year was the opposite. I was the only house that had them on in October before Thanksgiving. Nobody else in the neighborhood, the other companies didn't do it. It was the opposite. Now, 80% of the houses in the neighborhood, probably pretty much the ones that are getting lights, they all have lights already.
You say you're a trendsetter. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you,
that's
Sue,
what
for
I'm
recognizing
on.
Is it because
that.
of your green lawn?
I
might
think
be.
so.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, apparently the people who lived in our house before us were big decorators for Christmas. So
expectations.
Yeah, there's some expectation there. I'm not sure how well that's going to be met. Just going to throw that out
There's a
there.
new sheriff in town.
Why do you hate Christmas, Sue?
I don't hate Christmas.
Okay, all right.
I just, Did a passenger plane get hit by space junk over Utah last week? That is what people are pondering. The answer is maybe. Okay, here's what happened. There was a United flight from Denver to L.A., and it had to make a 90-degree turn and land in Salt Lake City on Thursday morning because something happened to its windshield. One of the 3 layers on the right side shattered, and bits of broken glass got all over the cockpit. Somebody got their hands on photos. One of the pilots actually had cuts on his arm. And I thought, what? So they're saying, well, we're not sure what it is, but it could be space debris. Apparently, the FAA says the odds of space debris hitting your plane and killing you are around 1 in a trillion. But there could be a little something that comes at such a speed that it breaks the outer layer. None of this is reassuring.
No.
You know?
I just have to
this
say,
year.
Safe flight repair, safe flight replace.
Yeah, thanks. But you got to land the plane. All right, and finally in Sue's news, we have today's random fact. Michael Keaton's real name, can you name it? Mark Reardon.
I can't. I cannot.
No.
Michael Douglas.
Ah.
He picked Keaton as his stage name because there was already a Michael Douglas, and he kind of liked the way Diane Keaton's name sounded.
Oh.
So he put them together. But Keaton was a stage name for Diane. Her real name is Diane Hall, or was Diane Hall. Keaton was her mother's
that's ironic
maiden
too.
name,
With
right?
Annie Hall. Yeah, that's interesting.
So Keaton was her mother's maiden name. Also, her nickname is Annie, which is where Woody Allen got the title for Annie
See,
Hall.
it's all tied together. And, of course, we just lost Diane Keaton. She passed away last week.
Yes.
There's Sue's News. It's in the books for a Tuesday afternoon.
I'm Chad Robison with Your Money Now. The Dow jumping today, boosted by strong earnings reports from companies such as Coca-Cola and 3M. The Dow gaining 218 points, the S&P 500 up slightly by 1, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq lost 36 points. Blackstone and TPG are agreeing to acquire medical diagnostics firm Hologic in a deal that's worth upwards of $18.5 billion. Under the agreement, Blackstone and TPG will pay in cash to acquire all outstanding Hologic shares, implying a premium of nearly 6% to the share's last closing price. With Thanksgiving just around the corner, the nation's turkey flock has decreased to the smallest size in 4 decades, and a fall rebound in avian flu cases is adding to the damage. The American Farm Bureau Foundation says wholesale turkey prices are 40% higher this year than they were last year. That's Your Money Now.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/free. QUO.com/free.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Triton Exteriors. Not sure if you've noticed, but the storms seem to be especially bad this spring. If you had James Hardy Smart Siding, you wouldn't have to worry about it. It's not going to be damaged like in the 314-day storm. So we do roofing, siding, gutters, fences. We're always going to be the middle bid. We're never going to cut corners. We're never going to take advantage of you. Call 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
we called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
They came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
And this portion of the show at 3:34 or 4:34, depending on what time zone you're in right now. How about that for a save? Is sponsored by Jerry Kelly, Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Hey, it's Glenelle. A quarter of a century. That's a long time. Congratulations to 97.1 FM Talk.
Celebrating 25 years of 97.1 in St. Louis.
Hey, we could have had people. We got people on the stream listening in the Mountain Time Zone right now, right? I can just imagine that's how I cover for my errors. David Strom from hotair.com coming up after the top of the hour. There's some really good reporting in the Free Beacon from our friend Jessica Costescu on the border crackdown, but not on the migrants coming over the border, something else coming over the border, which has been pretty significant. Jessica's with us this afternoon. How are you? Welcome back to 97.1 FM Talk.
Thanks so much for having me.
You were already on my radar because you are a semi-regular guest, but then my friend Scott Jennings said that you were on his show yesterday, and I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity to swipe a guest from Scott. So that's one of the reasons you're on today. But he's awesome. He's been on my show for many, many years. But really good reporting here, Jessica, because this is something that I would argue is not being discussed anywhere else in the media. And this is sort of an indirect correlation to the border crackdown that you discovered about fentanyl.
Certainly. Basically looking at official data from Customs and Border Protection, fentanyl seizures compared to last year are basically cut in half. And really the fentanyl epidemic coming from the southern border really reached its peak in 2023. But even in comparison to last year, it's been halved every single month since President Trump's taken office. For instance, while in June it was only a 42% decrease, in May it was a 70% drop. And so I've spoken to a few subject matter experts, and they really gave credit to the Trump administration for their overarching crackdown at the border.
But what's interesting to me in your reporting is that this is not necessarily because they're catching less fentanyl. It's because the cartels are worried about the Trump policies. They're not trafficking as much. They've backed off. That's what you've discovered, correct?
Yes, essentially. The numbers are an accurate representation of how much fentanyl is being trafficked because, they can't figure out, the cartels don't have many months to figure out new ways to smuggle fentanyl across the border. If they already had these options, they would have done it before, the Trump administration came in. They're just not sending in as much fentanyl because they know it's been a priority of the Trump administration. And the Trump administration has really also put the onus on the Mexican government to really deal with their own problem. But, we've seen already like a sweeping range of actions, right? Like with designating the terrorist cartels, designating the cartels as terrorist organizations, all the strikes we've been seeing out in the Caribbean, everything added up together just really shows that the cartels do not want the attention of the American government, and really they're afraid.
Some of this is really not too difficult to understand from the previous administration perspective. In other words, as you point out, you have, I don't even know what the number ends up being, 12 million people that are just streaming across the border. And then fentanyl seizures between 2022 and 2023, they skyrocketed, right? They're up by 89%.
Right.
Well, that obviously makes sense because you got more people coming over the border. And I guess now the flip side is true outside of the fact, though, that it seems like the cartels are adjusting what they're doing because of the Trump policy. It's hard for me to believe, though, that they're just going to give up. Are they going to go toward other products here? You, I think, say in your reporting that they're looking at markets outside of the U.S. like Europe while trying to bring other things here to America.
Certainly. Obviously, they're not going to give up. The cartels became, multi-billion-dollar businesses during the Biden administration, so they have to make up their revenue somehow. What they've been doing with the fentanyl that they have is that, yes, they've been looking for alternative markets, one of those being Europe. There's been a large uptick in fentanyl in Europe. What they're also doing is they're just shifting to other drugs that aren't necessarily on a priority list for the administration. Like, for instance, there's been a small uptick in methamphetamine coming over from the southern border. So they're going to try to get their revenue in some other way, but it's not fentanyl. And as we know, and as your listeners know, fentanyl is just the most dangerous drug, and it's already killed so many million Americans. And even I think during the Biden administration, the Department of Homeland Security seized enough fentanyl to kill 14 billion people. So the fact that fentanyl has been halved compared to last year is just an astronomical success.
That's succeeding. Look, it's hard because I know for certain that there are probably people listening right now whose families have been devastated by some of this stuff. There's a pretty good PSA that's been running. I saw it on Fox this morning where they have these kids that are trying fentanyl, normal suburban kids, and that's what's happened. This has not been just like an inner city crack epidemic. These are kids from well-off families in many situations, and they get heavily addicted. But the PSA shows just what one little piece of fentanyl can do to you, kill you, leaving your family without you moving forward. It's just devastating how many families have been caught in the crossfires of this particular epidemic. And it's almost like we don't talk about it. It was brought up a little bit during the presidential campaign, but all this stuff is kind of, in the background. Families have to deal with these tragedies, but it never really gets discussed that much in the media.
Yeah, devastating consequences, but of course, a lot of the mainstream media doesn't want to give credit where credit is due, and credit is very much due to the Trump administration for this, at least according to the experts that I've spoken to. They've done all of these things, sending in more agents at the border, expanding the drone fleets that CBP has. All of these separate actions has made a real impact, and I guess will continue to make a big impact. So I look forward to keeping track of the numbers, and then maybe I'll come back and let you know if they've gone down even more.
It will. So you did a little. Before I let you go, let me ask you a little bit. You did some reporting on the the Virginia AG race and the governor's race there in Jay Jones, and you covered the debate last week. It's been just absolutely mysterious for me to sit here in the middle of the country and really not understand how this guy has not been condemned by more Democrats and how he has not pulled out of the race. Now, I had a panelist on my show last week. I do a little roundtable on Fridays, a political roundtable, and one of the answers that one of my Democrats said is because, well, they can't take his name off the ballot. And his point was if it was a few months ago and they could replace the name off the ballot, all these Democrats would be falling in line. But they can't because they're worried that they're going to lose the seat, which seems, pretty reckless to me. But he didn't do so well at that debate last week, did he?
No, I was there in person. It went pretty much as well as you could have expected. I mean, Miyares, I think the Republican candidate, did really, really well. I mean, Jay Jones repeatedly said that, I take responsibility for my actions and for my comments and that they were horrible, et cetera. But how are you taking responsibility? You can't just say that you're taking responsibility. Like, what does that mean? What action is that? You really have to drop out at that point. I mean, I can't imagine, you should be running anymore.
It's bad. It's unbelievable. It really is that, even people like Tim Kaine are saying, well, that was horrific, but I've known this guy for 25 years. That's fine. You don't have to drop. No one's asking you to drop your friendship with Jay Jones, right? If you still think he's a stand-up guy. But I think when you look at the facts of this case and you match them up with the particular office that he's seeking in Virginia, it makes it even more egregious. Look, this would be bad if it was a city council, race here in suburban St. Louis, but it's even more crazy that it's on the statewide level. I mean, it's just difficult to understand how the guy is still in that race, Jessica. It really is.
And that's exactly the point that Jason Miyares made too during the debate. He said that if he were to apply for a job at a prosecutor's office, he would not even pass a background check. So,
yeah. Unbelievable. So do you have a gut check on whether Winsome Sears is closing the gap with Abigail Spanberger? I think Spanberger is still the favorite, right? Winsome is the lieutenant governor. I'm rooting for her. Any gut check on how that's going to close here in the next couple of weeks?
I think the AG race is very much in the favor of the Republican candidate, Miyares. I think, yes, for the governor's race, Winsome Sears is closing the gap. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough because just from my knowledge, I know that the governor's race in Virginia typically goes the opposite of the White House.
Yeah.
So because Trump, a Republican, is in the White House, even before it didn't really matter who the candidate was going to be. It was already going to be a very tough fight. So I guess we'll see. There's 2.5 weeks left, maybe.
Yeah, not very much. Glenn Youngkin, wasn't favored to win in the first place, I don't think either. And then that race ended up being very different. So we'll see. I don't know how much the anti-Trump sentiment and then, government workers and all that could be a factor. But look, they've been voting out there for a couple of weeks with the early voting, too.
Yeah, it started 2-3 weeks ago. I'm not really sure. I'm not up to date on the numbers, but I think most people, or at least more than half, end up voting on election day. So they're still they're both Winsome Sears and Abigail Spanberger are going to be going across the entire state of Virginia. Making several stops every day, last-second efforts.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah,
we'll see if it pays off.
We're keeping an eye on it from here in the Midwest. Jessica Costescu, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Jessica. Always great to have you on.
Thanks.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident reported southbound 170 south of Page. Watch for that on the right side. And there was one earlier eastbound 6440 past Maryville Center. That one blocking the left lanes, and that's got a jam behind it back to about Clarkson. Now, if you're westbound on 70, moderate volume in pockets, Jennings Station Road out through Wentzville. 64 is lined up approaching Kings Highway, and that's in pockets out through the 70 split. But southbound 170 really is slow as you head for Page, and southbound 270, slow pockets there from Olive down through Gravois, southbound 55 slowing from Arsenal down through Bates, and we do have a little bit of volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge, but it's mainly eastbound that's jammed on the Missouri side trying to get back into Illinois. This report is brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. Barron Mirror Glass and Door, simply the finest. When it comes to mirror glass and shower doors, you can't find better quality, prices, or service. They have the basics all the way up to the elite. Barron Mirror Glass and Door can't be beat. I'm Sue Thomas. That's Traffic 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Tired of mice? Point Pest Control finds their entry points, eliminates the infestation, and seals them out for good with our exclusion services. Mention Annie to get 10% off on top of any other special. Call 636-798-0023. Visit Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com. This Thursday, stop by Bobby's in Maryville for a boolicious bash with 30 candy-filled trunks and prizes galore. All supporting Maryville's Cops and Kids Christmas. So have your costume ready for Thursday and learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you're thinking about replacing your windows before winter hits, which is smart, don't keep making the same mistake. Stop replacing your failing vinyl windows on your home now with more vinyl. Lakeside Renovation and Design will install Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows. They're built to last, they're energy efficient, plus they look stunning, and they're custom built for your home. Installed by Lakeside's expert team, and they're going to offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. If you're ready to upgrade your windows once and for all, you need to visit windowsbylakeside.com. Schedule your free consultation today.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
Hey, this is Ryan Wiggins. You know I love great deals, and when I find one, I'm going to pass it along. How about 75% off of snacks, chips, and especially Little Debbie products? It's its second-generation distribution in Roxana. I go there all the time. Plus, you can search through while you're there. Their nice selection of toys, electronics, home goods, apparel, all discounted. You're going to love this store Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 301 South Old Edwardsville Road in Roxana, Illinois, or visit them online to see the full inventory. Type in Little Debbie Store Roxana.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you could get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
Reardon's back. Smarter talk for the Show Me State. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, let me squeeze a little audio in here that I have been meaning to play here this afternoon. This is, by the way, there's a lot of these out there, and it would be expected. You had all these people out there for the so-called No Kings rallies. You know what's fun for me? I mentioned earlier in the show that I was on Facebook today, and I don't always do that, but I had to engage with a couple of idiots out there who, they're bitching about the White House renovations, and I don't get it. So it's $250 million renovation not paid for with taxpayer dollars.
That would
and
be
the White House
line.
The White House has been renovated dozens of times. Somebody on Facebook with a string that I popped in on said, "You don't understand, Mark Reardon. This is history being erased." Shut the F up, you idiots. But this is even better. And this is where I'm a little disappointed in myself, because The next time they do one of these, I should probably go out there and ask the questions that some of these other folks did. Why are you here?
What brings you out today?
No King's Day.
And why specifically are you out supporting No King's Day?
I think protest is important.
Why are you protesting?
How much time do you have?
A couple minutes.
She doesn't know.
What's the main reason
She has no idea.
protesting President Trump?
I agree with a lot of the decisions that are being made.
Really?
Is there any decision in particular you disagree with?
Name one.
Okay, so I would start with well,
oh my gosh,
I don't
Mark.
even think it's appropriate for me to have this interview.
Yeah, first of all, she sounded a little liquored up, right? But they have no idea. It's just like if you have liberal friends and they bring up the court cases, and one in New York in particular, have them explain to you what Trump was found guilty of. Just say, hey, what was he found guilty of? They don't know. They'll have no answer for you. It's a fun game. Play it at Thanksgiving. Here's Bach Younger Sargon on No Kings.
These protests were overwhelmingly white. They were overwhelmingly elderly people, older people. Now, again, white boomers have the right to have a mass therapy session about the fact that Donald Trump won. But to call it a No Kings protest, to act like he is a king, is so utterly preposterous. This is a man who won the popular vote. He won every swing state. He is a person who is enacting the exact agenda he promised he was going to enact while he was campaigning. And so what they are actually protesting is the absolute perfection of American democracy, where a person campaigned on an agenda, won the popular vote, and is now enacting that agenda. So it was actually a protest of democracy, all of which is to say the only way to greet such a preposterous proposition, calling this a No Kings rally when it's actually an anti-democracy rally, is to crap on it. I'm sorry. It's to basically make fun of it. And I think that has been the Trump administration's approach. They didn't try to stop it, God forbid, because he's not a king. They allowed them to have their say. They allowed them to go out there, and then they made fun of them.
Yeah, and this is the same thing that's going on, like with all these Facebook posts about these things take on a life of their own. All these idiots are posting about this. Your liberal friends who, I'm sorry, if you're posting about that in particular, you're a freaking moron, okay? Because it's dumb. The White House has undergone dozens of renovations. This is another one, and you're not on the hook for it like you were when 12 million people streamed over the border, and now nobody's coming over the border and fentanyl's down. That's such a terrible thing. Oh, my God. Donald Trump is so evil. Such an evil, evil person. On the East Wing stuff, here's the idiots on the – it's just so ridiculous. Here's the View talking about this.
You don't own it. You cannot take it down. You don't own it. Tacky, gaudy, nasty ballroom. He's pooping on the American people.
What are you talking about? And I guarantee you that when this project is finished, people will walk into that ballroom, heads of state from all over the planet, because we are the country that everyone looks up to.
Yes.
We are the most powerful country.
Yes.
And by the way, we were not the most powerful country on the planet a year ago.
Yes.
I promise you that. That's changed. But they're so pissy. This is what they have. This is what
Mark,
they have. They're mad about the East Wing.
If any other president
they
did
would
it,
be heaping praise on this like crazy. Here, listen to this.
But to take literally a wrecking ball to the White House, it's grotesque. Just grotesque. Yeah, far different. Yeah,
painful. I mean, this is historic structure.
It's history being torn to shreds.
I mean, there's so much beauty and history in the East Wing, so it's sad to see that that huge hole there.
Shut up. Shut the you have no idea how much I could say the word that begins with F right now. You have no idea, because these people are ridiculous. And here's Trump talking about this thing. And it's a success. People should be talking about it, and people should be happy about it.
We're building a world-class ballroom. For 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom here. We don't have a ballroom. We have a little cocktail area, but we don't have a ballroom. The East Room, it's called, is a very small cocktail area. It holds about 88 people if it's tight. And I said, if I do this again, I'm going to get a ballroom built, and we're putting up our own money. With the government is paying for nothing. You probably hear the beautiful sound of construction to the back. You hear that sound? Oh, That's music to my ears. I love that sound. Other people don't like it. I love it, Josh. I think when I hear that sound, it reminds me of money. In this case, it reminds me of lack of money because I'm paying for it. So it's the opposite.
Yeah, some of the money is coming from Trump himself.
Yep.
So it's incredible. The amount of Trump derangement syndrome that exists out there is still at a Hall of Fame, and he keeps poking them. Wait till you hear the Harry Enton numbers. Scarborough's making the case, oh, Trump's getting killed on this. His numbers are higher than ever, and they have to admit it on CNN.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, we've had a couple of issues this afternoon, but if you're just leaving the office, there is an accident westbound 70 past Zumbel, but they've moved it to the shoulder. And it's not so bad. So westbound 70 out of downtown, a slow pocket or two just past Salisbury, past the airport, all the way out through Wentzville. 6440 is worse. It's slow-moving traffic approaching Kings Highway. And then it's in pockets all the way out through 70, but with heavier volume. And southbound 270, most of the volume there is from Page down through Gravois, and then it looks better. Northbound is slowing, especially at 64. And we've got southbound 55 slowing south of Arsenal down through Bates. The innerbound southbound, just some moderate volume headed for 64. Now, eastbound 40 lines up headed for the Poplar Street Bridge, but it's not too bad on the bridge itself. I'm Sue Thomas. That's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
You know, a year ago when I was doing a flooring project with Mike Reynolds and the team at Michael's Flooring Outlet, he asked me to write a review. I wrote a rave review, which you can find, I suppose, because I know I did it, on the michaelsflooringoutlet.com website, which you can also get to at igotfloored.com. But here are some samples, and they match up with the experience that I had. Excellent service, prices, and selection. I definitely recommend them or be back when I need something else. Excellent place to get all your flooring needs. Excellent service. The word excellent pops up time and time and time again. I know that they are committed to great customer service. If you have a flooring project, whether it's a soft flooring project with silky soft carpeting from Mohawk, some of the best in the industry, or a hard flooring project with Mohawk products or other opportunities as well. They have different price points, different options, especially, as I like to say, for your lifestyle. You may need something that is more scratch resistant because of children in your home or pets in particular. They can help you through all of that. And they have 3 great locations open 6 days a week, just closed on Sundays in Old Town St. Peters, Darden Prairie, West County on Olive, the website, igotfloored.com, Michael's Flooring Outlet. Don't trust a big box store. Trust the experts at Michael's today.
When you ride, you feel the freedom of the open road. But when the road turns dangerous and an accident happens, the pain and confusion can be overwhelming. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, you need someone who understands. At Kaufman Townsley, we're your St. Louis neighbors. We live here, work here, and we know how important your recovery is. We'll fight for you so you can focus on healing. Kaufman Townsley, real people, real results. Call 314-500-5000.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
He says he doesn't want to have a wasted meeting. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump with that comment to reporters as the second summit between him and Russian President Vladimir Putin appears to be on hold as their war in Ukraine continues.
You got 2 countries that are killing each other. 2 countries that are losing 5,000 to 7,000 soldiers a week. So we'll see what happens.
The president had spoken by phone with Putin last week and had discussed meeting in Hungary. Last week, Ukraine's president Volodymyr Zelensky went to the White House to ask the president for Tomahawk missiles. The president didn't agree to that and continues to push for both sides to end the fighting. Senate Republicans met with President Trump at the White House this afternoon as the government shutdown drags into week 4.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune says he's happy to negotiate other issues with Democrats when the government reopens.
And at some point, the Democrats are going to have to say yes for an answer.
Senate Republicans meeting at the White House to show unity behind a stopgap measure to reopen the government until November. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries have reached out to President Trump to schedule a meeting.
Things get worse every day for the American people. He should sit down with us, negotiate in a serious way.
The Senate will vote Wednesday on a bill to pay essential government employees during the shutdown.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz on Capitol Hill. Vice President J.D. Vance says he's optimistic the fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas will hold.
It's going to require constant effort. It's going to require constant monitoring and supervision.
Though he admitted significant challenges remain, this coming as Hamas has released the bodies of 2 more hostages. Wall Street, the Dow up 218, reaching an all-time high after 3M reported a bigger profit for the last quarter than analysts had expected. The Nasdaq lost 36, the S&P essentially flat, finishing just below its all-time record. America is listening to Fox News.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's been another windy afternoon, but those winds quickly diminish with the setting sun, and our temperatures tumble. Clear skies in the 50s for evening plans. Sweater weather, 43 for the overnight low. Wednesday, plenty of sunshine. Breezy in the afternoon, not quite as windy, but still breezy, 64. Clear skies, 43 Wednesday night. Thursday, sunny and 66. Clouds come rolling back in on Friday, and we've got periods of rain. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Windows specialist. With winter just around the corner, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction, 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a Banner day.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Let me give you a little bit of an example here on the complete, I don't even know what the word would be here, because you're going to hear one version of the story here on the shutdown from Joe Scarborough spiking the ball, and then a completely different version, which is, I think, reality from Harry Enton over at CNN. So here's Scarborough saying basically the topic here is the government shutdown. Oh, the Republicans are getting killed on this.
72% of Americans are on Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries' side. They're actually winning this debate. Republicans can have very logical arguments about clean CRs. It just doesn't matter to most Americans. Most Americans feel the pinch of these healthcare costs skyrocketing, and they're blaming Republicans.
No, they don't, because first of all, none of that has even happened yet, because the subsidies are still in place and they don't expire for a month. I can't believe how dumb Scarborough is at sometimes. So the 72% number, a bunch of crap. Here's Harry Enton. What's happening to the president? Oh, he shut the government down. It's 3 weeks. What a terrible, terrible thing.
This shutdown hasn't eaten into Donald Trump's support at all. His net approval rating is actually up a point in terms of his popular support. So the bottom line is this. The first shutdown during Trump's first term, 2018, 2019, was hurting Donald Trump. This one is not hurting him at all. There's no real reason Donald Trump might say, at least when it comes to popular support, I want to get out of this shutdown.
Yeah, you know what? Keep it shut down. You're going to get your back pay. I don't care at this point. I'm so sick and tired of the left. I really am. Every Republican except for Rand Paul voted to open up the government, okay? Every Republican in the House voted to open up the government. That's why it passed. So it's the Democrats who are voting to keep it closed because they want to hold it hostage. So if there is some sort of 72% nonsense out there, it's because the American people believe the BS that Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski and all the rest of them are peddling, that this is somehow not related to Chuck Schumer. David Strom from hotair.com is here. Thank you for being patient while I thump my chest just a little bit. You wrote about this. It's infuriating the way they're trying to put the blame and it's not even real because the American people are like, yeah, I don't think the Republicans are getting the blame on this.
Well, I don't think that most Americans have actually noticed yet that the government is shut down. That's actually the most interesting thing about all of this is for, the average American, this is a non-event. There are Democratic constituencies out there who are feeling the pinch, people who are getting various subsidies out there. People with EBD cards right now are starting to complain. But it's really mainly the federal employees who are feeling the pinch, and almost every single one of them votes for the Democrats. And so I would say right now, Donald Trump is in the catbird seat, and the Democrats are going to be desperately looking for a way out of this. And they're in a real tough spot because they've painted themselves into a corner.
Well, what do you think about, because, I think our side has always been very careful when it comes to this idea of getting rid of the filibuster, because this can come back to haunt you. If you're in power, you get rid of the filibuster, then when the Democrats, who, by the way, campaign on that issue, get in power, they're going to do it for sure. So one suggestion is maybe on, in a bill like this, you have some allowances for a different vote total and not the 60-vote threshold.
Some of your Republican colleagues have proposed nuking the filibuster to force the government to reopen. What do you?
Yeah, of course. Carve it out for that, absolutely. We ran on that. We ran on killing the filibuster, and now we love it. It's like carve it out so we can move on.
Fetterman, one of the only people kind of making sense. And because that whole concept of carve it out and move on, we wouldn't have to deal with this crap every 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, well, the interesting question for Republicans is how far do they want to take things? Because Donald Trump right now is using his power to, exercise decision, which is basically, fire people, jettison certain spending programs out there. And, I think that there are a lot of people in the White House, not necessarily in Congress, but in the White House, who are using this as an opportunity to do things that they have wanted to do for a long time. Now, congressmen, on the other hand, are very sensitive to various constituencies, and they'd rather not have to go through this. But it's basically Donald Trump versus the Democrats, and he holds, most of the high cards.
I'm at the point where I don't care if the damn government ever reopens because I'm so sick of their games. And to your point, most of the people in this country overwhelmingly are feeling no effects of this. And if you're one that is feeling an effect, I apologize, but your anger should be directed at the Democrats, especially those who voted for the same damn thing in the spring and now are turning this into political. And if they think that they're winning it, if that's their view, if that's Joe Scarborough, then let it ride. Let it go through the... I don't care at this point. Let them bitch about everything. Let them hold another No Kings rally with all the people that are afflicted with Trump derangement syndrome. All the while, crime is down in the country. Inflation is down. I pay premium gas prices, and I couldn't believe how low it was to fill up my tank yesterday, and the stock market's in record highs. Terrible things going on in this country. Oh, and nobody's crossing the border. I mean, I'm pissed. I am so pissed that all these things have turned around, David. I got to tell you.
Tell me what you really feel there.
I mean, it's this whole thing. I went off on this whole thing with people right now, and it's my fault for going on Facebook. This is a mistake that I made. I try to avoid it, right? But the whole Facebook existence right now with the left is spent on this White House renovation, right? Which isn't even going to be paid for by the taxpayers. But they're so livid about anything that he does, and this comes off in No Kings, where you have people that attended these things and you stick a microphone in their face and you say, hey, why are you here? And they can't give you a damn answer. So that's kind of funny as well. This is all about TDS. There's nothing that this guy can do that they would give him credit for. Nothing.
No, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, all of us, in principle, could agree that we'd like to have the system work where they use regular order to pass a separate bill for every single thing that they are going to be funding. But at the moment, we're really just having a knockdown, drag-out fight over whether Donald Trump has the right to be president or not. That's really what this is all about. The Democrats are unhappy with what happened in the election, and they have determined that they are going to fight every single thing that Donald Trump does. It has nothing to do with policy. It has nothing to do with ideology, and has everything to do with hating on Donald Trump and Republicans. And so this really is derangement at a very fundamental level. The irony is that the number one thing that they're complaining about, obviously, is the health care subsidies. And I guarantee you that Donald Trump wants to sit down with them and come up with some sort of at least temporary solution to this so that there isn't a price shock before the 2026 elections.
Of course. And John Thune has made that very, very, very clear. So, but what we're not going to do is have that discussion now as a condition of reopening the government. We are pledging that we will have this, and your left-wing media will hold us to it because they'll be covering it nonstop. So why would it be so horrible to have legitimate conversations, especially because we know that there are Republicans, whether they're in rural areas, people who supported Donald Trump, that may be concerned about some of this right now because it affects their quality of life with how much they're spending. But in no way, shape, or form should there be a buckle on the part of Republicans right now until this opens with the CR.
Yeah, I mean, they are looking for some way out where they can claim a victory. It's not going to be over this because Republicans want to be able to shape this in such a way that we can get out of this bind where we're having to essentially socialize health care step by step, which is, of course, exactly what Obamacare was always about. They designed it to fail, to create a system where everything got so expensive, which is where we are now.
Yeah, then they go to single payer, right? I mean, even though the promises that were made by people like our Senator Claire McCaskill at the time is, this is going to help premiums go down. By the way, here's what Senator Thune says about this.
From the very beginning of the shutdown, I've made it clear that if Democrats reopen the government, we can immediately sit down and talk about the Obamacare cliff that they've created. Instead, Democrats have wasted now 1, 2, 3 weeks when we could have been having those discussions. They spent their time looking to be praised for fighting against President Trump when they could have been working with him and with Republicans on solving a problem that they claim to be concerned about. Mr. President, I'll say it again. Republicans are ready to go to work.
Senator Thune has made that commitment over and over and over again. So it would seem to me that would be a pretty big story if they pass the CR, David, and we get the government reopened, and then all of a sudden the Republicans and Thune say, no, we're not going to do that. Well, they'd have something to answer for here. But the Democrats have made it, as you pointed out, this is their only strategy right now. Go against anything that Trump wants done, even when he releases hostages that have been held for more than 700 days to their families and creates at least a path for Middle East peace. I'm still a little, suspicious about whether or not that's going to play out as the fact that, they never do. But it really is something that they can't get on board. And the things that they say, it's like they don't even make, like on the healthcare subsidies, David, those were temporary. And then they were temporary again. And now they're set to expire. They're acting like this should have been dealt with months ago, which maybe it should have been, right? But that's not the time during a CR, resolution, passing a bill to keep the government open. That's not the time to have that conversation.
Oh, I guarantee you that once this particular shutdown, however they come up with a solution to it, is in the rearview mirror, the Democrats actually do not want to solve this healthcare problem because of their long-term goal is, in fact, a public option. They don't want Donald Trump to be able to get through this crisis that was created by the Democrats. So they want the prices to go up. They want people to be hurt. They want to be able to run on this in the 2026 and 2028 elections.
And in fairness, the healthcare issue does poll better for them, and they know that.
Yep.
So that's what you said is absolutely true. All right, Sue and I are this is really going to shift gears on you, but you wrote about this on hotair.com. David Strom is my guest. We're fascinated by this whole thing at the Louvre. And one of the things that I didn't know is that they closed it down, so it's still closed.
Looks incredibly easy.
A little crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm just sad that I can't go in.
Just sad you can't go in.
Yeah, because it's closed right now. And here's a worker saying, look, concerns were ignored.
Alerts have been issued for months and months by all safety and security personnel, in particular to highlight the flaws and problems we were facing daily. And in fact, management completely ignored all these alerts, and today what we feared happened.
Well, that sounds like a lot of things where we have warning signs in this country, David Strom, and you even say maybe there's a little aspect of DEI involved here.
Yeah, well, just last year they were out there, praising themselves for hiring the first female to run the security at the Louvre. And within a year, they get, probably the most embarrassing, theft. I mean, this really is something out of the Pink Panther movies from the 1970s, where, it wasn't even Ocean's 11. I mean, these people came in, used a saw, and came through the roof and stole the jewels and got out within 7 minutes. And I don't know whether these are long-standing problems that go back, years and decades, or whether this really is something that just is a result of this DEI hire. But what it does show is that the focus is on how things look rather than how things work. And that really is the key to DEI. They want to say we have the first, whether it's the first black, the first lesbian, the first female, whatever protected class they want to drop in front of us, rather than focusing on what is the result that we want to have. And the result here is a secure Louvre. I mean, we're talking about the place where, the most famous artworks in the world are on display, and they couldn't keep people from coming in and 7 minutes later walking out with some of the most priceless works in the world. Yeah.
Now, you posted, when you wrote about this story, this was kind of cool, and you might be tempted to think that it's real, but somebody, Sue, put together something that says Louvre heist Louvre, as they like to say, heist POV release. And I guess it's AI generated, but it basically gives you it's like a 15-minute clip or a 15-second clip that kind of shows you exactly what happened, because they climbed up they had what they call the thing, the ladder thing, the truck with the ladder, like with the basket, like fire department might use. So they go up there, they have a disc cutter, they have scooters, so they break in, they grab the stuff, they come back down the electric ladder, and they get on these little scooters, and then they're gone, right?
Yeah, it's amazing, and that was AI generated, but there are actually videos of people who were right there in the gallery watching them come in and break through the protective glass, steal the stuff, and leave. I mean, it really is amazing to think that this could happen right in front of everybody, and there was no preparation at all.
It's unbelievable.
For how to deal with this.
And you pointed out, and I think let's repeat this because this is true. I feel the same way. You said, I have no reason to believe that women are incapable of doing such a job. Of course they can do a job if you have someone who's qualified. But in this particular case, it's pretty clear that she was not hired for having special skill sets that would meet this particular job, but for show, and the show turned out to be the one that could have been, put on at the Ford's Theater. So it's just crazy. And I don't know if they seem somewhat confident. I heard some of the authorities saying that they think that they're going to get some of the stuff back. I think 2 pieces have been returned, but good luck. I think it's all melted down by now.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a problem with DEI. It's not that, various people who might fit into those categories, whether they're women or, black people or Hispanics or whatever. Obviously, there's going to be the potential for people who are exceptional in those categories to do as well as people who are exceptional in the majority. The problem is if you decide we are going to hire someone from those categories, regardless of whether we find anyone, you're always going to get someone who is not as good as the optimal person there. I mean, you hire for the skills, the ability, and if they happen to be white, that's fine. If they happen to be black, that's fine. If they happen to be women, that's fine. But if you start at the point where we're, as say Biden did with Ketanji Brown Jackson, I'm going to find a black woman, you wind up with Ketanji Brown Jackson, who is just not very bright.
Look, you know what? I think we've all grown up. I've said this in relation to her in particular. We all grow up thinking that I've gone on a rant, David, and I'm sure you have too, against the experts, because we put our trust in the experts, right? We think the experts are on a different plane. We put Supreme Court justices on that higher plane. They must be smarter than someone like me who doesn't have a law degree. And in her case, nope. In Sotomayor's case, nope. I mean, the things that they have said in open discussions during arguments in the hall of the Supreme Court have been stunningly ignorant to me at times. So, they're just as dumb as some of the rest of the radicals on the left. David Strom, always great to have you on. I appreciate it. Hope all is well in Minnesota.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Take care. We'll see you.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Thank you for letting me know, John, about an accident eastbound Gravois, and it's closed just past Germania because of this accident. Traffic, of course, is stacked up in that area. Now, we've got plenty of volume on westbound 6440. It's approaching Kings Highway in pockets out through 70. 70 is lighter volume, but it's slow pockets as well, approaching Jennings Station Road on out through Wentzville. Southbound 270, slow traffic. This is approaching Olive down through Doherty Ferry. Then you get a break and some moderate volume at Gravois. And the innerbound southbound slow pockets, and that's Olive through 64. 55 is slowing at Bates in the construction zone, but looks fine to the south. And if you're headed into Illinois, we actually look good on the bridges downtown. This report is brought to you by me. I'm Sue Thomas. That's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Brought to you by your local Lennox Premier dealer, Scott Lee Heating.
Scott Lee Heating's Premier Dealer distinction means you'll be working with the best the industry offers. Learn more about our special savings opportunities on Lennox products by calling 314-756-9444 or visit us online at scottleeheating.com.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
When you go shopping, you may not get the bargain you want, but at least you know and can compare prices. It should be that way with healthcare, but too often it's not. Need an operation on your knee? Want to know what it's going to cost? Good luck. For 3 years, hospitals have been required to provide patients with list prices and have negotiated charges for some 300 services. Just over a third are fully compliant. In Missouri, prices differ greatly depending on a patient's insurance. The cost of a pelvic CT scan, for example, can be 20 times more expensive in one hospital than another. Price transparency allows patients to compare providers, forces hospitals to compete on price, and helps insurers negotiate lower rates. State law should require all healthcare providers to publish prices in a user-friendly form. What we don't know is costing us. The price of healthcare shouldn't be a secret. Check out our 2025 blueprint, Moving Missouri Forward at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
When it comes to roofing, you can't go wrong with Corel Roofing. Mark Cox here. My friend Curtis Corel came out, looked at my roof, worked with my insurance adjuster. I got a new roof, new gutters, and even new screens on some of my windows. Curtis specializes in working with insurance companies. Even if you've been denied, he's often able to work with these insurance adjusters to find a way to get it covered. Here's something else Curtis tells me. With cooler weather coming, you need to be aware of something. Roofs cannot be installed if the temperature dips below 45 degrees. Some companies go ahead and do this anyway, but you're going to have problems down the road. So if you're concerned that your roof won't make it through the winter, call Curtis Corel today. Corel Roofing has crews with over 20 years of experience. They pay attention to detail, and they can work with all the luxury line roofing as well. Call Curtis at 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529. Or on Facebook at Corel Roofing Co.
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-234-0633. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now, 800-234-0633.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-234-0633. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-234-0633, or go to oxcarcare.com.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I think we can all agree that this has not been the best year for the aviation industry. And, you know, I would still consider air travel the safest form of travel out there because, let's face it, we don't often have years anywhere near like we have here. But we've had, you know, helicopters crashing into airplanes in D.C., killing dozens of people. We've had, close calls on runways. And then there's this. This one's just a little different, but I thought I'd share it. I found this in the LA Times this morning, and this just happened on Monday evening. It says a flight. I don't know how this happens, but you tell me. A flight bound for LAX on Monday was diverted after a communication issue resulted in the pilots thinking people were trying to breach the cockpit. So this was an American Airlines flight that left from Omaha, Epley Airfield in Omaha, around 4:40 on Monday. And then it returns to Epley Airfield in Omaha about 20 minutes later for an unknown reason. There's this flight tracking website called FlightAware. There's several of them out there, and they kind of notice this. So they start digging into it a little bit, and then KTLA, which is a outlet in L.A., says that they went to the FAA, and what they found was the plane was diverted because of an issue with the plane's internal phone communication system. So the pilot declared an emergency, and he turned around. He hears knocking on the cockpit door, and he can't reach the cabin crew.
Oh.
I thought they had cameras or at least something that they could look through the keyhole. Maybe that's just in the movies. So he didn't know what was going on. As it turned out, it was the cabin crew trying to reach them and tell them that they had a communication problem. The airport officials in Omaha said that there were no security-related incident at Epley Airfield this evening. So it was basically just a confusion situation.
Yikes.
But, yeah, that could kind of scare the heck out of you. You don't know what's going on. And then this is another story from the LA Times that I thought was lighter and fun. And it just kind of, I don't know what it shows us about our animal friends, but they described this particular black bear as lonely that I'm going to talk about. And it says a wild, very polite, and possibly lonely black bear paid a visit to its neighbors at the Sequoia Park Zoo in Eureka, California. Eureka's way up north in California. That was one of the first television markets I ever applied to.
I'll be
when I was, 22 years old. So they're doing a routine inspection of something called the Redwood Skywalk, which is a self-guided tour of redwood history and ecology. And they find this black bear, and it's leaning on a gate, and it's looking at 3 black bears in their habitat within the park. So the people that came up on him from the zoo said the bear didn't seem aggressive, was just sort of interacting with the 3 bears named Tule, Ishung, and Kurabalia. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right.
I'm sure that was right.
I don't think so, yeah. The police department got a call about the bear around 9:30 a.m. They responded with California Department of Fish and Wildlife. And I guess there is a big 60-acre park, Sequoia National Park, which is right behind that. Yeah, and that's where the bear came from. But how it got into the zoo is still a mystery because they have perimeter fencing that, as most zoos would have, that separates the facility from the park, and it was intact and secure. So they took the lead at Fish and Wildlife to kind of escort it out of the zoo back into the woods. It was not, euthanized or anything like that. They made sure that humans were not around, so then the bear would not get scared, and it's back in the woods right now. But it's kind of interesting because they don't know exactly how it got in. You'd think they'd have cameras or something that would...
For sure at the zoo.
Yeah, or at least at that zoo. Anyway, a couple of lighter stories. We're going to talk real estate in St. Louis and in the market overall with Mark Gellman coming up.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got a lot of volume on southbound 170, and that's from near Del Mar down through 64. It's just a slow go through there. And we had an accident westbound 70 past Zumbel, but they got that cleared. So 64, by the way, is now slow as you go just east of Lindbergh to Big Bend, and then it opens up. We've got westbound lining up near Kings Highway, and then it's in pockets, a slow go out through 70. 70 slowing at Jennings Station Road, and then in pockets just coming off of the Blanchette Bridge out through 70. Southbound 270, that volume is approaching Olive down through Doherty Ferry, and 55 slows at Bates. If you are headed into Illinois, things look great on the bridges downtown. This report brought to you by Aspen Contracting. RoofsByAspen.com. Is your siding dragging down your home's curb appeal? Well, Aspen Contracting can transform your house with new siding. Fast, efficient, built to last. Don't settle for an eyesore. Call Aspen today for a free siding inspection. 636-465-1696. I'm Sue Thomas. That's Traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Setting goals for your retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, listen to the All Financial Hour with Steve Hall, Saturday mornings at 6, here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
This is Kyle Bush with Crinch Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. Life changes, divorce, loss of a loved one, or an inheritance. It can be overwhelming. We provide the resources, long-standing support, and thoughtful guidance you need to plan ahead. With our help and experience, you don't have to navigate these transitions alone. You can move forward with greater clarity and confidence. Your goals, our mission, start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/free. QUO.com/free.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Hey, it's Paige. I love listening in to 97.1 to stay up to date on the latest news and to stay informed. Happy 25 years and cheers to the next 25.
Well, we got our big birthday celebration, which is now less than 48 hours away. Thursday afternoon, we're going to do the show from the Lit Cigar Lounge out there in the district, which is in Chesterfield, right by the factory. It's where Top Golf is off of Boone's Crossing. It is the 25th anniversary celebration on Thursday night. The guests will include Mark Cox. I've heard of him before.
I've heard of him.
Annie Fry.
Yeah, I heard of her.
John Beck, who is a radio executive who helped put this
Holy cow.
station on the air. We have some local members of Congress like Bob Andrews swinging by, former Senator Lamping, and Fred's got the list. He is beefing up the list, so we'll have an entire show. Sue asked a very valid question. Will there be, I'm sure the audience is asking this already as well, will there be a live Sue's News on the premises of the Lit Cigar Lounge in the district on Thursday? Can I answer that question?
I don't know.
It is top secret, apparently. I have not been told.
Me neither.
I would prepare for the best and expect the worst. How
Fair
about
enough.
that?
Fair enough. Yes.
Mark Gellman is with us, a great sponsor of 97.1 FM Talk, who lives out in the Chesterfield area and really has no excuse to not attend the party on Thursday. So let's see if he's going to come. Are you coming?
Mark, how are you, buddy?
That's an interesting way to
introduce. Did you put me on the spot? You know what? Count me in. A matter of fact, you're the guy that went on your Greece trip. He asked me today if I'm going there on Thursday. So who would have thought? I got hit twice.
Yeah, so you sent a picture. It's funny because I've had a couple, every once in a while I hear from the people who were, Larry, who's become a good friend of mine who was on the show. But you had, who was it, John out there, right?
No,
Joel.
If I'm correct, his name was Joel.
No, that's right. Because I heard from John Leap today, and his wife Susan. I even told him, it was Joel Turshak.
Joel.
Yes, but so was he a client
Joel Turshak, and great guy, but he's like I hear you on 97.1, and then we talked about the Greece trip that
Awesome.
he loved your trip, and now it's funny. He asked if I'm going Thursday night.
See,
now you're asking me. You know what? I'm there.
All right,
but
good.
I think I'm going to see you tomorrow night too.
Yeah, you're coming to the Springsteen movie screening, right?
I mean, I'm going to be with you every day. Let's just hang out.
It's a little
What?
frightening.
That's cool.
That's a little frightening, Gellman. It really is.
That.
Well, let's talk about real estate because I like to get you on here every once in a while just to see where things are. I've read a couple of national stories. You know, now we're into this holiday period where I think that some people think back and sit and say, well, if we were going to sell the house, we're going to wait till after the holidays. I know that you guys always recommend don't do that. Put it on the market. We can get it sold in any month possible, right?
Unequivocally. So we just met with I go out with my agents on different listing calls. So we're out on a listing call yesterday, and I said, if there is nothing time sensitive about you wanting to sell in the spring, for example, if somebody's children, they want to finish the year up and then move out of state, so they want to stay till May or June, there may be a reason that you'd want to put your house on the market early February. But if there's nothing time sensitive and you, for example, don't need protection from the road behind you with trees filled in, or there's some reason strategically you want your pool open if you don't keep it open year round, if there's nothing strategic about having it in the spring, I love the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter has serious buyers, albeit less buyers. There's way less competition, so proportionally speaking, less competition and more serious buyers. We have put homes on the market that have struggled to sell with other agents in the summer and in the fall. We've taken those listings and we've put them on in the fourth quarter, and they've sold. Less competition, serious buyers. So we are very bullish on that. Now, we will take pictures potentially or use their pictures of, what it looks like with the pool open, what it looks like in the summer. But do not hesitate, listeners, to put your house on the market in the fourth quarter.
So where are we with rates and rates having an effect on the market? Like I have a story that I saved from thehill.com, not my favorite outlet out there, but they were talking about, and this guy's predicting a pretty big real estate boom if the rates, kind of get to a little bit more of a comfortable spot, like at 5.5%. Where are they sitting right now, Mark?
Yeah. So, and by the way, they're not that far off, meaning that prognostication if they hit 5.5. I actually believe they have to go lower than that to really stimulate the market. But we are seeing the 10-year Treasury go down, and we are continuing to see it, lower. We're in the low sixes right now. However, and keep in mind, this is from a high water mark of a year plus ago where we were in the 7.25. But here's the thing. I don't see the market really moving significantly until you're in the low fives. Are we going to be able to move another 0.75%? Don't know that. Here's the thing. The Fed is going to be meeting. They lower interest rate. But remember, that short-term borrowing, the Fed doesn't really have anything to do with mortgage rates.
Yeah.
Different. And so I'm not so sure that we're going to see that number in the fives. But when we do, the low fives, I think you're going to see a big ramp up. But here's the thing. Those buyers that are waiting, you know what they're going to encounter? They're going to encounter higher prices, even though we continue to see prices go up on those homes selling, even though there are less sales today than there was last year. But we are going to see, if indeed rates go down, it's still going to be a supply and demand issue, and you're going to see prices then skyrocket up because of competition.
They had an interesting point in this coverage in The Hill where they kind of talked about the demographics of the country related to wealth, because the number of people ages 65 and older will more than double by 2040, which would reach about 78.3 million people and a total of 88.8 in 2016. Their point is that there's financial impact to that. So you have boomers that are transferring that wealth, to their heirs and to widows and charities, et cetera. So is that anything you even think about, in long term when it comes to how some of the wealth is being transferred, or is that just sort of more of a broader picture thing that you just have to deal with?
It's an interesting thing when you're looking at baby boomers and aging, but I'm at one of my offices, at one of my co-working spaces, and our biggest tenant here is home health care. Well, what they're doing is they're keeping people in their homes longer, which obviously is a great thing. But what you're seeing now is part of the whole ecosystem. Look, it used to be, and especially pre-COVID, you used to see these nursing homes those were exploding. Home health care was still big, but nothing like it is today. Well, people are staying in their homes longer. So I'm not so sure what that whole transfer of wealth looks like 30 years, 20 years down the road. But what we know, people staying in their homes, less on the market. And then we have the first-time home buyers who are really in an interesting, our children, your children are going to struggle in many cases to get into the market as first-time home buyers because they have no equity that they're going into. So they're not selling a small home that now they're going to upsize. So it's really a lot of moving parts. It's not just about houses. It's about finances. There's just so many moving parts right now.
I don't know if you saw this, but in the Wall Street Journal today, this is a separate but related topic. They had a story about, and they focused on Atlanta, where this is stunning, Mark, it really is, up to half of rental applications contain fraudulent information. And I guess there's a surge in this because people are trying to get into, apartments because of the home buying market. And I guess because of that, there are a lot of fake, information that is being filled out on these applications, which is something I never even would have thought about. But I guess,
by the way, they're using fake IDs. A matter of fact, I was with one of the largest property managers in St. Louis, a very close friend of mine, have breakfast with them every Monday. He was actually saying that this is happening more and more because people we're at some of the highest all-time credit, debt. And so some people cannot get pre-approved. So they're doing this fraudulent to get approved on apartments that they shouldn't. And they don't care about the credit. So it's interesting. Yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic right now.
All right, dude. Well, I will see you at the movie screening tomorrow night at Ronnie's. I'm looking forward to it. You have a great night. Thanks, Mark, for jumping on with me.
And I'll see you Thursday and maybe Friday.
We'll have to come up with some plans. Maybe some dinner plans on Friday. That would be nice.
You got it.
All right,
hey, buddy, thanks. And thanks all your listeners for supporting the Gellman team.
TheGellmanTeam.com.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We just had a report of debris southbound 270 past 64, so just be careful as you drive through there. We've got traffic lightening up just a bit. So if you are westbound on 70, there's still a slow go around Jennings Station Road, but then it opens up. It's a little slow at 94 and at Wentzville. Now 6440 is still lined up. It's Kings Highway in pockets out through 270 with eastbound slowing east of Lindbergh through Big Bend. And we've got volume on southbound 270, mainly approaching Olive through Doherty Ferry. There was an accident reported on northbound 141. So if you're traveling by Helfrich, that is the cause of the delay. Southbound is fine through there. And if you're headed into Illinois, things look good on the bridges downtown. This report brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. Simply the finest when it comes to mirror glass and shower doors. You can't find better quality or service. They have the basics all the way up to the elite. Barron Mirror Glass and Door can't be beat. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's Traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I want to talk about Game Day Men's Health and a couple of things that you might not be aware of. They have 3 locations in the St. Louis area. I'm kind of partial to Matt Lawrence and his team out in Chesterfield, a real easy location right off 6440 and Olive or Clarkson, if you will. One thing that they do is make sure, because, guys, they know that you're busy and they're aware that they respect your time. So in 1 hour, you can get a free PSA test, by the way, and within that hour, when you make that appointment, you'll get test results and a full consultation. So you don't have to take off work. You don't have to block off a big portion of your day. It's real easy. They will not cut any corners, though, because they have an in-house state-of-the-art lab, very efficient processes, and they still leave room for a conversation. And I know this because I went through the process, and you get to sit down with board-certified men's health medical professionals. medical weight loss is something that they focus in on, and they have their own pharmacy at Game Day now. That allows them to offer very safe and effective medicine from Game Day's own FDA-certified pharmacy, very low prices. The treatment plans that they will have for you, they're developed and supervised by their own board-certified medical professionals, and they offer that, by the way, to men and to women. But if you're interested in Game Day Men's Health, you should check them out for sure here in the St. Louis area. Do me a favor, tell them that you heard about it here on 97.1 FM Talk. Matt and his team, they do great work out there. They'd love to see you. They also have a couple other locations as well in Glen Carbon and in O'Fallon, Missouri. Get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health, GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
This is Hans von Spakovsky, the Heritage Foundation. St. Louis would be a news desert if you didn't have the 97.1 Oasis to turn to every day for intelligent and informed information and news. Here's to the next 25 years.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
we called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
They came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
Looks like we are definitely out of the massive heat waves that we received this year, but any week when it's 90 degrees during the day and 90 degrees at night is, in St. Louis, the humidity is not comfortable and our bills do go up. With that being said, we're coming up in the winter months and this is the time that you want to get your furnace looked at and checked. It's inexpensive to have it looked at for your peace of mind. And this is also the time of the year where you'll hear during your furnace checkups that you have a bad heat exchanger or you need a new furnace. Call me if you hear that for a second opinion. You'll be happy you did. And it's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, Bart Inman, now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. And God bless.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
He's not here to play nice. He's here to make you think. Mark Reardon on 97.1 FM Talk.
Live broadcast Thursday, Lit Cigar Lounge in the district out in Chesterfield. It's our 97.1 FM Talk 25th anniversary celebration. We have quite the lineup. I know Fred was kind of showing me the list of people that will be joining us. Mark's going to kind of co-anchor the show. Pretty much this show is going to be taken away and ripped away from us, so essentially for all the birthday celebrations. But that's okay. We have the roundtable set on Friday. State Rep Steve Butts will be here. Jane, who made a triumphant return last week, and also former State Senator John Lamping, all on the show for Friday. And Friday will be, I've like one of these rare weeks where I have things kind of every night of the week.
Yeah,
and,
it's a lot.
Well, but I'm excited about it because tomorrow,
right,
and I know this is not the most popular topic with conservatives, but it is what it is. I separate my music and my entertainment. I've been a Bruce Springsteen fan since 1980. I've seen him about 45 times in concert. I went to the opening of the European tour, and there's a movie that's coming out based on a book that was written by a guy that I kind of know. His name is Warren Zanes. He was in a band called the Del Fuegos, and he's a rock and roll historian. So the movie is really not a biopic of Springsteen. It's very narrowly focused on the period between The River, which was the first record that I bought, and Born in the USA, which vaulted him into superstardom.
Yes.
He did this record called Nebraska, which was literally recorded on little cassette tapes, and he wanted the sound of that to be very particular because it was supposed to be raw. Well, the record company thought he was crazy because here he is. They wanted hits, right? They wanted to make money, and he wants to sit in a room and record on this little 8-track machine, and, you know, that ended up going well for him, but at the time, people did not think that. So I got that, and then the party on Thursday night, and then, you know, this has been, in the history of my adult life, I don't think, and this is because I was sick, I don't think I've seen fewer live rock and roll shows than this year. But I'm going to see a band called Lord Huron, one of my favorites, at Chaffetz on Friday night.
That's great.
So I'm kind of loaded up on my plans here this week, Sue.
Stand by. Playback ready. Now, the audio cut of the day.
I'm just going to, I had a bunch of, I'm just going to use this one because this so, awesomely sums up the people that went to the No Kings rallies across the country over the weekend.
So what brings you out today?
No King's Day.
And why specifically are you out supporting No King's Day?
I think protest is important.
Why are you protesting?
How much time do you have?
She has no idea.
Couple minutes.
Clue. No clue.
And what's the main reason you're out here protesting President Trump?
I agree with a lot of the decisions that are being made.
Is there any decision in particular you disagree with?
Okay, so I would start with
just one thing. Anything.
Well,
anything without slurring your words.
I don't even think it's appropriate for me to have this interview.
It so perfectly sums them all up.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Don't forget about that accident at Gravois in Germania, which is Hampton on one side, Germania on the other. They had it closed down eastbound for a while, and there still is a jam in that area. Southbound 55 looks good. 44 westbound, a little slow in the Shrewsbury area. 6440. Still some slow pockets. Kings Highway out through McCausland, and then again as you approach 270. There was an accident reported there, and it's slow ramping on from eastbound 64 to northbound 270. And westbound 70, an accident again at Jennings Station Road, then things open up a bit. If you are headed into Illinois, things look great on the bridges downtown. This report brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broken, it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly 'cause they're open till